Good evening, and welcome to another beautiful Big Freaking Friday show here on the College Football Mafia Network. I am your host and official for this evening, Mullen After Dark. I am joined tonight by Professor Wild Ute. I am joined tonight by the Princess of the Pacific Northwest, Becky Go Huskies. She
Hi.
is joining us tonight. Nate's anniversary is tonight, so Nate, you're watching on demand. Happy anniversary again, sir. Congratulations on 34 years of marriage. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the best of the rest category. The Virginia Tech AD had brought it up in a presentation to their Board of Visitors that trifurcation exists as a possibility for the future of Virginia Tech and other ACC teams. And those would also include Big 12. So we're going to kick that off right now. It's going to go through. We're going to strike off teams. Some of these teams, we're just going to strike them off because we know we're not even going to debate them. So let's go ahead and start. You go ahead.
You know what? There's a lot to get to tonight, Moan. Why don't we do the super chats first? We got a couple super chats in. Let's honor our community with super chats. And just a heads up too, how many are we going for overtime tonight, Moan?
15 super chats of $5 or more will get us into overtime.
Okay. Yeah, let's get to it.
Ryan Willie was the first to start us out. The Evil Badger. He says, I'll watch later to see if all the big haters say after the news yesterday. Brewers baseball the next several days. Well, enjoy that Brewers baseball. Let me see if I got that Major League sounder on here somewhere. Here we go. Here's a Major League sounder for you, Ryan Willie. I know you love the Brewers.
He's not the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
God bless Bob Euchre and God rest Bob Euchre. Thank you for the super chat, Ryan. It is appreciated, sir. Then we got our friend Ricky Tungate, the Indiana Hoosier.
Hey.
Mullen, I see where you and Greg were having fun at each other's expense. Have a good show. Yeah, it just so happened that he picked the 3 games he picked opposite of what I did on my 5-leg parlay. So I think I got a good shot. He says he's Greg the Gold. He is Greg the Cold. He is the cooler. I think that I've got a shot at it here, Ricky. Let's give you a little Indiana song, and it'll be good to see the Indiana Bison on the sidelines this season. They're bringing them back. It'll be fun to see the Hoosiers with a proper mascot again. It really will. Thank you for the super chat, Ricky. By the way, if anybody is feeling generous like Ricky and Ryan, you can click that little cash icon below the chat window. And from there, you can leave us a super chat. You can become a member. You can gift a membership. You can do all those fun things from that little cash icon. Members get preferred comments, and they get access to our special emotes in chat, and membership-only videos and live streams that we do throughout the year. So are you ready, you? Can we go?
Let's do it. There's a lot to cover tonight, y'all. And we're going to start with the strikeout game, okay? So here what we're doing right here. We're going through the ACC and we're going through the Big 12. And we're going to determine right now who's even making the tier maker here. So we've got 16 Big 12 schools and 18 ACC schools. And so together there's 34. We got to whittle this list down to 24 for the tier maker. So we're striking out 10 schools right now that have no shot at getting into the best of the rest trifurcation conference. This is the best of the rest, likely funded by a private capital source. Mode, we're going to have a discussion about this, but are teams going to be going to the Power 2? Or are we just going to be estimating that they're going to this best of the rest? We're still going to hash that out, but we need to see the players and who we're talking about. And this is how we're starting. Number 1 in the ACC, Boston College. Becky, is Boston College making the tier maker to determine the best of the rest conference?
So I guess the question is, are markets going to play a big role here?
Sure.
Because they have the Boston market, essentially, which now I suddenly want chicken. if market plays a role, they have a shot, but it is Boston College. The only views they get are when they just create these random upsets, which for whatever reason tends to be Florida State.
Yep.
I'm going to say no.
All right, Moan. No. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a strikeout on Boston College.
Boston College is out of the tier maker. They're out of the best of the rest. They have been eliminated via the strikeout. That is the first victim of the strikeout game. I'm sorry, Eagles, but you're gone. No the market's there. No brand, TV ratings limited. Really no upside there. Out. Cal Berkeley. Moan. Cal Berkeley, are they going to make the best of the rest tier maker tonight?
I'm going to leave them on there, and I will explain why. I think there's a lot of the mountain teams, the further west teams in the Big 12 that have to be considered. I think they'll need travel partners. I want to leave Cal on.
Got it. Becky.
I am with Moen. I'm leaving Cal on. I think, those Western partners, having a Western division that gets you California, which is great, because the other California school on here does not get you into the state of California, truly, because they're a private school. So.
Yeah, I'm with you too. Cal Berkeley stays on. They're going to be on the tier maker. We're moving to Clemson. The Clemson Tigers. I think that's a slam dunk, guy.
Yeah,
if they're there, right? If they're not in the power two, they're going to be in the best of the rest scenario, 100%. Is there any disagreement with that?
Listen, I don't think Clemson should be included. I think it's so obviously a power two school. I want to have the most realistic options possible. And let's face it, Clemson's going to the power two, whether it's the Big Ten, the SEC. Clemson is going to find a home.
Yeah, probably so, Moan. Okay, Becky, what do you think? Is Clemson staying on the list? Are they being struck out because they have other options, a power two option?
If we're playing the scenario where the power two is not expanding. If the power two doesn't expand, then if they do, then no, they're not there.
Okay, I'm playing it as if the power two is expanded. Okay, that is the reason that these schools are leaving the ACC.
Yeah, then I would say they're a no, since they're going to have an option. They'll have options.
In the scenario, yes, I'm with you too. In the scenario where the P2 has expanded, Clemson's in that, so therefore they're struck out. But for exact opposite reason to Boston College, they got into the power.
They're too good. Yeah.
Yep, they're too good. So they're out of the conversation for tier maker, though. Duke. Becky.
I'm going to say yes, because they don't just bring football, they bring great basketball. And that does play a small role in things, whether or not we want it to be reality, because football's the driver, but their basketball program gives them the edge over a number of the other schools.
Yeah,
and they're rich, so they'll buy their land.
Location, basketball, Duke stays.
Yep, Duke stays 100%. They're in the tier maker. Florida State, Moan.
Out. They're in the power two.
Becky?
Yeah, the power two is expanding, and they're out.
Florida State. They're probably in the power two. They're probably in the Big Ten. It's hard to see them struck out because they would be pretty core to making an idea like this, like a trifurcation, work, in my point of view. You need a brand like a Florida State, and we'll talk about Miami in a second, but you need a big brand to really lift this best of the rest idea. If Florida State struck out, that's a big blow for trifurcation, but still. All right, we'll go with it. Florida State gets in the Big Ten of the SEC. They're out. Georgia Tech.
In Atlanta market. But football's improving.
Yeah. With no Clemson available, they're in because they bring that Atlanta market.
Yep. Georgia Tech is in. Louisville.
In.
Miami.
I'm going to put Miami in here. I don't necessarily, that doesn't mean I don't think Miami's going to make the power two, but I think they've got the most arguments against them in the power two at the moment. So I would say let's leave Miami on there.
Becky?
I'm the opposite. I'm staying out because they would be in the Power Two. I think they would absolutely fit in with the Big Ten on a number of levels, maybe even the SEC on a number of levels. I mean, think about the SEC; they'd have Northern Florida and Southern Florida pretty much wrapped up with the Gators and Hurricanes. I just think if they're expanding, then they're taking Miami, so they're out.
I think Miami's in. There's a shot that it could happen. So we will go two out of three and keep Miami in the tier maker for this case. North Carolina.
Out.
Okay. North Carolina has been eliminated from the tier maker because they have an entryway into the SEC of the Big Ten Conference. That is the only reason that they will not be on the tier maker. Moving on to NC State in the strikeout game. Becky?
They're in.
Yeah.
Again, they help bring the market. North Carolina's not a tiny state, and they're a public school. Right?
Moan?
Yeah, I've got the Wolfpack in.
Wolfpack by far getting in. Hey, give us that Wolfpack call.
Sure. Let me do some super chats first, and then I'll do that for you.
All right. Sure.
Mark Bowman, Iowa Hawkeye. Will there be any room for Washington State and Oregon State in the best of the rest? Right now, we've just got the Big 12 and the ACC, correct?
That's right. That's correct. Just the Big 12 and the ACC.
Just the Big 12 and ACC for this exercise. So we're going to do it that way. But thank you for the super chat, Mark. I will give you a little bit of that Herky fight song for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And then we've got one from FF18 Buffs, our good friend Fergie. Did the Big 12 season preview with Nate earlier this week. Hey guys, this exercise should be done with the idea that the other two conferences do not expand. This is making a new valuable CFB property. Maybe we do that in a standalone video, Fergie, but I think I want the most realistic option possible. I think if Florida State, Miami, with the revenue share that they're currently getting in the ACC, if the Power 2 do not expand, I don't see those schools leaving for trifurcation.
Yeah. I mean, we have to play it like it's realistic. I think the most realistic thing is the other conferences expand and they decide, the rest say, hey, what if we just get the best schools together and get the most money we can? Because it's probably what's going to happen. So
absolutely. Thank you for that. Realistic. Thank you for that, Fergie. Here's a little Colorado fight song. And here's a little bit of that North Carolina State howl.
Woo! I freaking love that, Moan. I love that. And North Carolina State is in, baby. Now we're moving on to the Fighting Irish, the Fighting Mickeys, the rebrand Mickeys. What do you guys think? Is Notre Dame, would they even consider being in something like the best of the rest trifurcation?
They're out. They don't have, after the news, they don't have any reason to stay in a conference. They just stay independent. They have no reason to join a conference ever. They have a path.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I agree. The only way I think that Notre Dame exists is if Notre Dame is able to negotiate a similar deal that they have with the ACC now.
Yeah.
With this new conference where they play 5 conference games and get to remain independent and keep all their money.
Yeah, I don't think that Notre Dame ends up in this type of scenario. I think Big Ten, they will end up at that point inside the Big Ten Conference. Moving on to Pitt Panthers, Becky.
In. Surprisingly, I'm seeing they're in. And I know they don't have great fans or whatever, but Pitt's, Pennsylvania is a hotbed of recruiting. Pittsburgh's a good-sized city. They're going to bring viewers. They get eyeballs, even though they don't fill their stadium. But I think they would be in, just on those reasons.
Moan?
Yeah, I got the Panthers in.
Okay. I've got them in too, for the same reasons Becky's outlined right there. Pitt's in to the tier maker. Moving on to Southern Methodist, SMU. What do you guys think? Moan, let's start with you this time with SMU.
Out. Because I think you've got TCU in the Big 12. You don't need to duplicate your market. One of those
Big
schools,
12, right?
yeah, one of those schools has to be left out. And to me, that school's going to be SMU.
I've got them out. I think they've officially become an up and coming team, but they bought their way into the ACC by taking no money. It's the only reason why they're in the ACC. If they continue on a forward trend, maybe, but yeah, they would have to come along for free. Otherwise, no. It, like Moen said, it duplicates the market. Plus, there's multiple other Texas teams to get you into Texas. No.
Totally agree. TCU is the choice over SMU. We'll talk about that on the Big 12 side of things soon here. And you nailed it, Becky. There's going to be other Texas-based options. SMU just doesn't have a big enough brand. They don't drive ratings enough to get in, to be worth it to get into a conference like this, even if they wanted to pay themselves. And I just don't see it happening. SMU is out. Moving on to the Stanford Cardinal.
I got them out. That
What?
they're too elitist. They're too snobbish. I don't see Stanford wanting to play in this conference. I'd see Stanford going completely independent like Notre Dame at that point.
I have them in, but they probably have options. So for that, I'm going to say out because I think they actually have options, which hurts. They have options.
I've got them in, guys, and like I get it. Like the Big Ten's still an option, but really, are you going to consider independence over this best of the rest? This is a better scenario than the ACC, guys.
I'm like, no, you know them. They're not that snobbish. They're not. They wouldn't. The schools that are in this right now, if we just kept them, Duke, Georgia Tech, Pitt.
Okay. I will relent. I'll relent on this one. You're right. If you keep Cal, Duke, Georgia Tech, ultimately
they're in.
Stanford would do this.
Yeah.
But you're right.
Plus, if we get to the other four that used to be in a conference with them,
right? But Stanford is, again, the minute they agreed to join the Big Ten Academic Alliance, they would have a spot in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's why I said they have options. So for me, they're just out. But you guys can split that.
Well, let's keep Stanford in right now. Good discussion on Stanford, but I think that since Cal's in, Stanford can play in this realm and everything. It's going to be a cultural fit in a lot of ways for Stanford that they'd consider.
Plus, if Notre Dame has a scheduling agreement with whatever this is, yeah, Stanford's in.
Moving on to Syracuse. So, Moan, what do you think about Syracuse?
Syracuse is in. Again, basketball program brings you some of the New York City market. Football on the upswing with Fran Brown. I'm keeping Syracuse.
I'm keeping Syracuse. Same thing. They give you a little bit of the New York market. They give you the Western New York market. Upstate, all of that. Yeah, like they're perfect.
Syracuse is in. Well said. All right, Becky, let's go to Virginia, UVA. Are they in, out?
I think they're out because they have actual options.
Moan?
I am going to, for the same reason I wanted to leave Miami in, I'm going to leave Virginia in. I could see scenarios where Virginia gets left behind because of the Virginia Tech situation.
Really? This is a tough one. I do think Virginia ends up in the SEC as we had made the tier maker weeks ago. But it's not like a slam dunk because of its limited brand. There's things that it brings to the table. I'm kind of compelled just to leave them in, just for the sake of it. Let's just leave them in. It's not strong enough. So let's move on to Virginia Tech. Becky, are they in or out?
They're in. That's a great football team. That's a great. I will say this out loud, and people. I lived in Virginia. Virginia Tech's the bigger football brand in Virginia. I swear to God. Like, I swear to God. Like, I don't know why people don't recognize that.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's in for me. Bigger football brand. I got Virginia Tech in.
They're definitely in. Like, they're way, way in. This is the kind of school that I would really want. a best of the rest is the type of like NC State, Virginia Tech type brand. So they might be a ringleader of this type of setup. Virginia
Yes.
Tech so in. So I'm with you guys, 100%. They're in. And now we're moving on to Wake Forest. Becky, what do you think about Wake Forest? Are they in or out?
They're
No
out.
tier maker.
They're out. Like, no offense to Wake Forest, 35,000 seat stadium. Nobody really watches you. The basketball program hasn't been great since Tim Duncan was there or Chris Paul. Like, God, I mean, that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really bring a lot, unfortunately. Small private school, teeny tiny private school in terms of others. So they're out.
Mode? Yep.
Yeah, Wake's out. That's automatic.
Yeah, Wake's out. Wake's out.
Now,
All right, how do we feel about
watch them win a bunch of games this year, by the way.
They might. They'll need to win games for a decade straight to be considered in any type of realignment situation. They just don't have the brand for it. But like, hey, look, this is what we built out. Okay, so we've eliminated Boston College, Clemson, Florida State, North Carolina, Notre Dame, SMU, and Wake. We feeling pretty good about that? Does this look like the formation of something that could happen right here from the ACC side?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like this. I think this is the best available.
I wouldn't want to take this conference on in mathematics ever.
Duke, Cal, and Stanford, UVA, yeah, Georgia Tech, and seriously, yeah. No. All right, we're going to move on to the Big 12 strikeout game, okay? So this is part of the tier maker. We've gone through the ACC. We've selected the teams that we want to do more ratings on down the line in this live show. We're all doing this live show. It's going to be an epic, long live show, getting to the best of the rest conference that we're going to form, the realistic options. We're going to the Big 12, and we're starting with Arizona, the Wildcats. Moan, is Arizona in?
Yes. Arizona's basketball program, I think that's enough to keep the Wildcats in.
Becky?
Yeah, same reasons as too. Their basketball program elevates them.
I 100% agree with you guys. Arizona's in the best of the rest. Now we're moving on to Arizona State Sun Devils.
Sun Devils I'm putting in just because we got Arizona in. I think they're intertwined, and I think you need some. Again, I like the idea that you're going to get some of these mountain schools that would allow you to connect up with like a Cal and a Stanford. And
I have Arizona in, but mostly because they own the state of Arizona when it comes to football. I mean, they give you the Phoenix market, literally. That's their market. They're only, Tucson's an hour and a half south or something like that, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I've been down there. No, Arizona State owns the state of Arizona when it comes to football. Basketball's the flip. So
they're in. Yeah, they're in. Phoenix, Tempe, growing football brand, huge enrollment. There's a lot of things to like about Arizona State. They're definitely in this type of scenario, in my view. Moving on to a very interesting Big 12 candidate here, a private school in Baylor. Is Baylor in the best of the rest scenario?
No, I got Baylor out. Again, how many schools are we going to keep in Texas? How many schools do you need in Texas? And for that reason, I think Baylor, Houston brings you basketball, Texas Tech, obviously, spending out the ass on football. TCU, I think 3 teams in Texas is more than enough, and that's why I'm striking Baylor out.
Wow.
I have Baylor out for the same reasons. I think we have better brands in Texas left.
Holy cow. Yes, I am with you guys on striking Baylor out, but this is probably the strongest candidate that we've struck out so far.
I want to say this out loud. Baylor was a dumpster fire for 17 years in the Big 12, something like that. So their brand is super new. Like, they are basically Oregon on a younger scale.
Right. So Baylor is out. There's other Texas options that we're going to be looking towards and that we've already considered here. Now for the Brigham Young University Cougars. Are they in or are they out? Becky?
I have them out. I know they get a lot of eyeballs, and people are going to kill me when I say this, but this is like a combination of the two conferences. And that list on the other side is, for a number of reasons, would probably vote no. Like, no offense to BYU fans, it's not.
Right.
It's not an anti-Mormon thing. There's a lot of other things about the school that, like, they would probably say no about. A lot.
I've got BYU in. It's too big a brand. Yeah, it's too big a brand to leave out. I think BYU has to stay.
Moan, do you think that BYU could coexist with Cal, Stanford, Duke, Virginia?
I think if it comes down to who makes the most money, I think having BYU in this conference makes you money. And I think that's what this conference is about. The best product that makes the most money possible for each institution. I think you've got to keep BYU in there as a contender.
I like the logic there. And like I hear what Becky's saying too. There's some snags and everything, but BYU does bring a really good fan base, brand, good football. So for the reasons that Moan is saying, I think that they sneak into the tier maker in this analysis here. So BYU remains in the tier maker, and they move on at least. They're not struck out quite yet. And then we'll move on here to Cincinnati. What do you think about Cincinnati, Moan?
Sorry, Cincinnati, you're out.
Yeah.
It's
Becky?
too small a brand.
Look, Taylor Swift could show up at every game for the next 10 years. You're out, Cincinnati. Sorry, not sorry.
They're out. Yeah, Cincinnati, they're out. Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of like the Wake Forest type of conversation.
They're up and coming. Like I think another couple of years after that, playoff appearance, had they just stayed and had Luke Fickell and them stayed and built it back, and like they'd probably be there. But yeah, I am not.
Yeah.
I feel bad about the last two picks.
You know what? Like, hey, this is like what's going to happen, guys. If it comes down to it, and there's going to be a best of the rest formed, good schools are going to get left out. And there's going to be different reasons for it. It's going to be market driven, cultural driven, ratings driven. There's a lot of factors here, but we're putting ourselves like in the boardroom and making the call here for this new conference. This is just an exercise that we're going through. Probably the first of its kind that's ever been done. It's really interesting to do it too. But like, you've got to be honest with yourself and say, if you're making a 16 to maybe tops 20 team conference, Cincinnati's just not going to be a part of that. I think you've got to be honest about that. They just don't bring enough value to lift. And like, that brings us now with that thought in mind to the Colorado Buffaloes. Moan, what do you think about Colorado?
Colorado's in. Huge ratings with Coach Prime. Besides that, if you're doing a nationwide conference to compete against the Big Ten, you're going to have these mountain schools, these West Coast schools. I've got the Colorado Buffaloes in.
Becky?
I'm going to lean in. I think the Prime effect is a big deal right now. But they've been a power program pretty much since the beginning, and they do give you the Denver market. Again, Colorado's decent recruiting. I mean, I have no problem saying they're in, but like, they don't have options unless Prime stays there and they continue this ratings. I was begrudgingly saying yes because I think they'll have an option if Prime's still there in like 6 years.
Colorado's in. Prime or no Prime, the market's good enough. The brand is increasing. The investments at Colorado, they're in my view. So I'm with you guys. We're moving on to a very interesting one. And Moan, I believe you mentioned them beforehand with speaking on Texas, like Houston.
I am going to leave them in the tier maker. I'm not saying they're going to make it into the final conference. But Houston market, they do have a history with basketball. If you really want to put your stamp on basketball, and look, we've got some great basketball brands in here, I think you leave Houston in for the tier maker, but I cannot guarantee that, but yeah, Houston market, huge market, basketball, football, we'll see. They're trying to get it back on track, but the last time I remember Houston football doing anything, Tom Herman was the head coach.
Becky, what do you think about Houston?
I don't know if Houston's basketball program is good enough to overcome it, but like going for this exercise, I'm going to leave them in begrudgingly.
Houston makes it.
Barely.
I'm with you guys. I mean, barely. They make it through basketball market-driven play. I mean, Becky, remember the old Pac-12 was so interested in adding Houston for a reason.
Yeah.
Like they brought value in basketball and that market and recruiting. So Houston's in, like to the tier maker at least.
I mean, again, like if they can get their football program turned around, they have a great trajectory. That's the problem. The football program has to flip. And Kelvin Sampson needs to keep the basketball team from getting sanctions, because every stop he's had is ended in sanctions. So.
Yeah. Becky, moving on to Iowa State.
I have them in again. Good Midwest. It's like a good halfway point, and you're in a Big Ten state. Kind of wanna poke that a bit, and they get great eyeballs. I mean, they're good eyeballs.
Moan.
Oh boy. I leave
in a minute.
You know what? I can't even leave them in for the tier maker. I love Iowa State. I love what Matt Campbell's done there, but we've got to make some tough choices here, and I just don't think Iowa State has enough draw to bring enough value to a best of the rest conference. So I say out.
I am with you on Iowa State being out for exactly the reason that you mentioned. They don't really bring the market. The brand is good, not great. It just doesn't add enough upside. Houston, you bring in the Houston market, recruiting the basketball. Iowa State just doesn't have enough juice. Don't think they'd be realistically considered. They're out. They're out, Moan. That's a tough one.
It is.
That is.
It's a tough one.
So we are actually whittling this list down pretty good. And we've already eliminated roughly about 10 schools in the tier maker, and we have 8 left. We'll see out of the remaining 8 which ones make it through. Moan, KU.
KU slam dunk, they're in.
Yeah, KU's.
KU's in. All right, moving on to K-State. Becky?
Gonna hate me. I'm taking them out. If we don't need 2 teams in Kansas for this. No offense, Kansas State fans. You're good at pretty much good across the board in every single sport that you play. But Kansas is they're now investing in their football program. They have a better basketball program. I have no need for 2 teams. Plus, Kansas technically gives me Kansas City market as well. And I think there's a lot of arguments about that. I've seen Jayhawk and Missouri fans argue who owns that market. Kansas State doesn't give me a market. It's a duplication. If Iowa State doesn't give you the brand, then I have to use the same argument for Kansas State. I don't need 2 teams in the state of Kansas.
Before Moan jumps in, I've got K-State as in the best of the rest because of football history and brand. K-State gets really good TV ratings, have been historically over the last 25 years, 30 years, extremely good at football. I think they add juice on the football side, which is really going to fuel a lot of the best of the rest. That's going to be backed by private equity, private capital. So I think that they're good enough brand to make the tier maker, at least in my view. But Moan, it's going to fall on you. Is K-State remaining in the tier maker or not?
Sorry, K-State fans, but they're out. You don't need 2 Kansas schools.
Kansas schools.
And Kansas has blue blood basketball. They just got the new stadium. They're finishing it up. They just got a $300 million gift from David Booth. Kansas State's out.
And no offense, but Kansas State's history in football was trash until Snyder showed up there. They've All their winning seasons are in the last 30 years.
Yeah, but that's 30 years, Becky. It's 30 years, right?
In 30 years,
Like,
it's
it's
all
not
their
like
winning
3
seasons.
years.
I'm like, at least, yeah, no, I can't. It's not even a great history.
That one, that one is difficult for Wild Ute, but you two made the call. K-State does not make it to the best of the rest tier maker. Oklahoma State, are they making it?
I would leave them in the tier maker. They do have a good brand. They get good viewership. So I would leave them in the tier maker. I don't know that they make the final cut, but I would leave them in the tier maker.
I'll leave them in the tier maker. And Midwest gets, they bring somewhat of a Oklahoma, Dallas kind of market. It's a little overlap, but they get eyeballs, man. People watch them.
Yeah. you guys, like, I mean, they're going to the tier maker, but they're going to get in. They're going to get into the best of the rest, in my view. That's a little foreshadowing there, but there's no way you leave Oklahoma State out. They have the best historical TV ratings out of everybody in the Big 12. Everybody. Like, they really are one of the biggest brands in the Big 12 conference. I think they're a no-brainer to get in.
No, that's why I said that. Like, I'm right there with you. I'm like, I don't see why they wouldn't be in. They just, for whatever reason, they're the second best team in Oklahoma, but they get all the eyeballs.
Yeah, we've got a huge fan base. Like, and so Oklahoma State moves it. TCU.
TCU is in Dallas-Fort Worth marketplace. TCU, I think, has been of all the schools that got called up to the A4. I think TCU has been the most consistent in terms of football. They've made it to a national championship game. Yeah, I've got TCU in.
I mean, did they make it to a national title game?
They did. They didn't play very well in it, but they made it.
I know. I'm just asking if they even showed up. No. I mean, I say this. My team got their ass kicked the next year. No. TCU's in. Same reasons.
TCU's in. Yeah, like when we had eliminated SMU. TCU's the school we're choosing from Dallas. They've got good football, big market. Heck yeah. Texas Tech.
And come on.
Yeah, it's in the money that they're putting into football. It has to be in. I
think they're outspending LSU this year, guys. LSU, like Brian Kelly said, they're spending $18 million, and the reports are Texas Tech's at 28.
Yeah, and the thing you got to keep in mind is this new third conference would probably be around the 2030 range when it would form. Have to imagine if you're pumping that kind of money into a football program for 4 or 5 years, it's gonna pay off.
Yeah,
so
has to.
I've got Texas Tech in.
Yeah,
they're 100% in. Fan base, money, football, growth, in. UCF, Moan.
Listen, I'll leave them in the tier maker, but if Miami's making it in, I'm taking UCF out. You don't need 2 schools in Florida, especially when one of them's UCF. And they just hired Scott Frost, who takes no responsibility for his football programs. But, yeah, I'll leave him in for the tier maker. But, listen, if Miami's available, I don't think you need 2 schools in Florida.
I'm leaving them out for that reason. Say no. Miami.
I'm with Becky. They're out. Moan, they're out.
Okay.
Like, they just don't bring the ratings. Like, they've got a passionate fan base, but not a big fan base, small stadium. I just don't see them bringing the value for a best of the rest. I can't move them along anymore. So UCF's out. So what about the Utes? They in that?
I'll put them in.
I'll put them on the tier list. I think, again, it's a duplication of Salt Lake City market. One of those 2 can't stay. So I'll decide between the 2 here. I wanted to leave BYU off because I thought public school would be the better get in the state of Utah, but I mean, I gotta leave them in. But I don't know if
they're in
the list. So.
Yeah, the Utes are going to make the list. They're in too. West Virginia.
I've got the Mountaineers in. Strong brand, passionate fan base. Morgantown, I know it's not a very sexy city. I've been there several times, but they do love their Mountaineers. They're always out there in the stadium, win or lose. I'm keeping West Virginia in. If we're keeping Pitt in, I'm keeping West Virginia in.
Yeah, if we're keeping Pitt in, we got to keep West Virginia in. I think they overlap, but yeah, like Moen said, that's a strong brand. Like people watch them. They have decent basketball most years. They're pretty good across the board in whatever you do. So.
West Virginia's in. Brand, fan base, passion, 100%. That's what you want in this type of best of the rest conference. So there we have it. We've eliminated Baylor, Cincinnati, Iowa State, Kansas State, UCF from the Big 12, and we've eliminated Boston College, Clemson for a different reason. We believe they will enter into the Power 2, probably the SEC with the Big 10, more likely the SEC. And Florida State for the same reason, UNC for the same reason, Notre Dame for the same reason, and we've straight just eliminated SMU and Wake Forest off. The remaining schools will make the tier maker list. We've played strikeout. Now, Moen, why don't you get to some comments and stuff? I'm going to actually create this tier maker in the background.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that, you. Thank you for everybody who I see a lot of spirited comments on what we got right, what we got wrong. Don't worry, when we do the tier maker, we will put some polls up. We're going to let you guys have your say. So do not worry about that too much.
I mean, I'm officially an elitist, so.
Charlie Casado, but we all know Prime isn't staying much longer. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but we don't know what he's got planned or what Colorado has planned for after Prime.
I think the only way he leaves at this point for in any time is A, if the Dallas job becomes his to take, and B, his health. I mean, he just had a big health scare. Was it a bladder cancer?
Bladder cancer, yes.
Yeah. So if he stays healthy, he's staying there until an NFL job comes together. And I think that's the only way he leaves NFL. Or that Florida State job, because I bet you he would love to help his alma mater.
That's true. I'd be more I have more belief that he would take the Florida State job over a pro job.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I think the only pro team he would take is Dallas.
And deal with Jerry Jones. I don't know that anybody wants that job. Vox Quindaro, primo weed, bruh. I guess that's for Colorado. So Colorado's in because they got primo weed.
Good reasons.
D5 Terp says Cincinnati out. Don't disagree with you. Two Masta out and take that awful chili with you. Listen, I've apologized for Cincinnati chili on too many occasions here. Colorado is a contender and has natties long before Prime. Colorado is a shoo-in.
I mean, did you watch them in the Pac-12, Sean?
They were shoo-in, and when they were in the Big 12, they were good.
Yeah, and they died like the last couple of years they were in it. And it carried over to the Pac, and then, I mean, they played in one Pac-12 title game, though. I'll give them that.
Laura Weiss, the First Lady of Lubbock, says Houston does not get the Houston market. That is Aggies, Horns, and everyone else.
That's the thing with markets is you get the market if you're there because then you know you can advertise to the people in the city of Houston.
Right. You want to get some of the fans of these other schools that are playing in Houston.
You want them to watch and see you.
Absolutely. Got a message here from Greg the Cold, the cooler. BYU, Utah versus West Virginia, Pitt. What combo would have to be more valuable to best of rest conference? Pretty close. It would be nice to keep Western, massive rival, and Holy War in this new conference. You know, we're going to have to talk about that, Greg, because we don't even know how big, how many teams we're putting in this best of the rest conference.
Yeah.
Because remember, the more teams you add, that pool of revenue shrinks. So this might be a 14-team conference. It might be a 16-team conference. We're going to have to get there. But I see what you're saying. It's going to be a conundrum for sure. It's duplication of markets.
It comes down to which rivalry tips the scale. Oh,
Well, I think there's a situation where you could have Utah and Pitt in this conference and BYU and West Virginia out.
Yeah, I could see it on both ways. That's what's so weird. You know that? Like, I could see both ways on this. It just depends on money. Where it's at.
Thank you for the super chat, Greg. I won't do the OOO. I'll give you a little bit of the Minnesota fight song. You won't get to hear it very much when they play Ohio State, so you might as well hear it now. Thank you for the super chat, Greg. And I hope your picks do as well for me as they did last year. So thank you, sir. And I hope your mom's feeling better as well. I know she was having some pain issues. I hope she was able to get rid of those and feel a little better this morning. Arningad says the pack was no good for Colorado, but they still won the South twice.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Washington drop 40 on them in one of those in that game.
Steel Austin says only one team in Utah is needed. Sorry, BYU, but you guys are out. Well, we gotta get to the tier maker first. Steel, just wait till we get to the tier maker. Sean says if Utah drops to FCS, they can play Big Ten teams.
What do you say to that, you? I'm like, people forget that they have a Sugar Bowl victory.
Yeah, they forget they have an undefeated season with Urban Meyer.
You know, they should claim that year as a national title.
They might as well. Before Auburn claims it, get out there and claim it before Auburn does, guys. Cuse and Pitt are out. RW says he agrees it should be a 24-team conference. I think that's too many. I think you're really diluting the pot too much to make it valuable for him. Secret Agent says TCU can't sell out their stadium.
I have heard that from a few people, like, over the last few years. Like, they got a huge boost from that national title game, but then they sucked again. And they didn't sell out they haven't sold out a lot of games.
Vox Quindaro says nobody can find Morgantown. That's how they win so many home games. It's actually very easy to get to Morgantown. You just cut a little bit through Pennsylvania, and boom, you're in Morgantown.
It's in the center of West Virginia almost? Like
No, it's close to the Ohio River, or closer to the Ohio River. I've been there several times. I mean, there's West Virginia University. There's the Kennedy Center Prison that's out there. There's Mountaineer Mall that's out there. It's not a very big town.
No, I mean the only part of Pennsylvania or West Virginia I've been to is Harper's Ferry.
Yeah,
that's it.
So
only part of West Virginia I've ever been to.
It's but yeah, it's nice. I mean, the fans are great fans.
No, they're great fans. They're really nice too, which is wild to me.
Absolutely. If you're in the parking lot and they see you don't have a beer, they will gladly give you a natty light. Tom Dubé says this new conference will definitely need their own TV media network. We saw today in the news TNT is producing Big 12 content now away from actual live sports. So building that bridge for Warner Brothers. Flour tortillas are terrible. Tech is out.
Tech is in, guys. Tech is in. The tier maker's been made too. Oh my gosh. We've got 22 schools that made the tier maker.
Yeah, but are the
22
tortillas in?
Tortillas now tortillas aren't in. You get that crap out of there.
No, you give them a chance, they're gonna throw them in. Right on the field.
Let's see here. MBM says West Virginia has Mothman. They're in. Absolutely. If you guys have never been and you're in West Virginia, go to Pleasant Point, West Virginia, and Check out the Mothman statue. It's pretty badass.
I totally thought that was just a movie and not an actual legend
No, it's real. It's real.
until like I kid you not, until like 7-8 years ago. I felt like such an idiot. I was like, that's a real legend? They have a real statue.
Are you guys ready for this?
I'm never ready. I'm never
Which
ready,
one
but
are you?
always prepared.
Mo needs a second. He needs.
I got my drink fixed. We're good.
This is the best of the rest tier maker. Here are 22 schools in the ACC and the Big 12 that we made it through the strikeout game. They're realistic candidates for the best of the rest, the trifurcation conference, if it were to form. These schools would leave the Big 12 and the ACC and form a new conference, likely backed by some type of private capital partner. Who knows what that could look like, but that is the bones of this idea. And these 22 schools, yes, they could possibly end up in the SEC of the Big 10, but likely maybe not. A lot of these schools probably don't have a really good shot at doing that. So we're going to place all 22 schools into the same tier maker as we've had over the last 3 weeks. This will be the final finale of the tier maker before football starts up tomorrow. And of course, this segment is brought to you by Tarleton Cigarettes.
That's right.
Tarleton Cigarettes.
Can only get them
Here we
west
go.
of the Mississippi and east of the Rocky Mountains.
Ramon, you can only get these at Wild Youth's house. All right, so we're going 5 different tiers, okay? We can think about it one of 2 ways. We can look at the language and play based on that, or just simply see it as a 1 through 5 ranking. Tier 1, S tier, the Sigma tier, super tier, the must-haves. You got to have these schools are core to this best of the rest idea. Then moving down, tier 2, primary targets, tier 2 type teams that you need, but they're not absolutely critical, the backbone of it. High value fallbacks, tier 3, schools that might be in, might be out, strategic ads, probably outside looking in, tier 4, and last resort, say they're lucky they made it through the strikeout game, basically, and they've got really no shot at getting into like a 16 to 20 team conference here. So let's form this. Let's do this, guys. You ready?
I'm ready.
Becky, give me a let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, we're starting out with the Duke Blue Devils. Duke, Moan, where do they fall in the best of the rest world?
Primary target.
Basketball
brand, high value basketball brand, primary target.
I'm right there with them. Primary target, the basketball brand kind of gets them up there. You get a little bit of more money for good basketball as a conference. No,
I don't know. Duke, I think they're pretty expendable in a best of the rest or even the Big 12 scenario. We talked about this in depth last week during the Big 12 tier maker. They bring basketball, but you're not forming this thing for basketball, guys. This is for football.
no, but it tips the scale.
This is
Does
this
it?
is-
I just can't. Duke
Scale
like just
over
doesn't do it. Like for me, Duke's lucky to be a strategic ad in this iteration. Like Duke is just not valuable enough to put into this type of conference if you're forming it to be backed by private capital for football ratings primarily. I get the basketball stuff, but Duke really is not your best candidate here, in my view.
Listen,
I don't see them as a primary target.
it's not just, I don't think it's about just football. It's about everything they bring. If it was just about football, there'd be a lot of teams that would not be on this tier maker right now.
If it was just about football, Duke would be a last resort.
Yes. Stanford would be a last resort. Cal would be a last resort.
A number of
They might be.
Arizona
They
might
might
be
be.
a last resort. Like,
They might be too. Yeah, we need to do the analysis on them and everything. But Duke, I just can't put them in a tier 2, guys. Like, this isn't Florida State. This is Duke.
It's a national brand. Football is improving. Mike Elko built that program up. He got hired by Texas A&M. Manny Diaz in his first year did an admirable job with that program. So I think overall, if we're looking at overall, I think Duke is a primary target. North Carolina as well, populous state, gets you into North Carolina. It gives you a good rivalry if you add North Carolina State.
I want that Wolfpack instead of Duke in this best of the rest. But look, okay, it's 2-1. Can align. Primary target. Very fortunate Duke gets into the primary target, in my view. And we'll see where they stack up in the primary target realm once more schools get into that area. Now moving on to a Big 12 target and a huge market and a football brand, and that's the TCU Horned Frogs. Becky.
I got them as must-have.
Whoa!
Yes.
No way.
Yeah. You do realize they pitched to the Big Ten 2 years ago, right? Like, they went to Chicago and pitched to the Big Ten. They did do that. That's how close they were to doing that. And as people might kill me for that, I think there's only a couple of must-haves. I think they're one of them.
Whew.
Dallas-Fort Worth is huge. I know there's other schools that overlap it, and they're probably going to be must-haves too. I'm telling you, you have to grab them. They are a massive moneymaker.
Yeah, I've got them primary target. But I easily could have them must have. The Dallas-Fort Worth market. Again, TCU's got to do something to help itself this year.
Yeah, it does.
They got a pass for a bad season after making that national title game. They need to do something this year. Sonny Dykes needs to do whatever it takes to get that team back on track.
Yeah, if they continue that downward trend, they'll be a primary target quick, maybe high value fallback.
Yeah, at that point you might be flipping SMU into that slot. But I've got primary target. Primary target.
Okay, we can put TCU in the primary targets. Hear what you're saying. Where do they stack up against Duke? Are they ahead of Duke or behind Duke?
They're behind Duke.
I have them ahead of Duke, but I'm cool.
You got them ahead of Duke?
I have them ahead of Duke.
I've got them ahead of Duke too.
Duke's a primary target essentially because of their basketball team.
Yes, their basketball brand.
TCU is there because football brings the dollars. I'd have to put anybody with a good football team ahead of Duke.
This is going to be some wild stuff going through this. Holy cow. Okay, Georgia Tech. Moan, what's your breakout of Georgia Tech?
Must have. Georgia Tech brings great football. It's improved.
No, they don't.
They do. Listen, I think Georgia Tech is going to surprise people this year. I think Georgia Tech might make the ACC championship game. I think they
might not beat Colorado.
I think they do beat Colorado. I think Georgia Tech has done a wonderful job. They got good baseball. They've got a great market. They're in Atlanta. Great recruiting ground. Bring value. I've got them. Georgia Tech is my must-have.
I'm making them a must-have as well for the same reasons. They get eyeballs. They give you a little bit of that. They give you that Atlanta market. Their football program's starting to make the turn. They're only like 10 years, 12 years removed from playing in I think it was an Orange Bowl back in the old, was it Paul Johnson, I think was their coach? Can't remember his name. When he came over from Navy. But no, they're a must-have. Like Georgia Tech would be stupid not to grab them.
So if we are private capital thinking about this conference, like really is Georgia Tech that juicy? Really? As far as a brand to leverage off of, to make money off of? The answer to that question is no. They're not, guys. They are not. They are not a must-have.
You have to look at the total value of something. Having Georgia Tech, having the Atlanta market, getting into the recruit. You talk about football recruiting. That is a fertile market right there to football recruit for the Big 12. They may not be able to go in there and pull those, or Big 12, whatever this conference is. They may not be able to go in there and pull those 4 and 5 stars away from the Power 2, but there's a lot of 3-star kids in there that they can pull. So I think Georgia Tech must have.
Yeah.
Look, okay. Let's put this one to the community. I'm actually at high value fallback for Georgia Tech. You two are at must have. Let's see if the community thinks that they are either a must have or a primary target.
They're still
We'll be
arguing
meeting in the
about
middle.
TCU, and
I think look. So yeah, I mean, like Georgia Tech the community needs to speak in a poll if they're going to be a must have or a primary target.
All
right, let's hold off on them.
Good.
Yeah, let's hold off on them and
we'll
run a poll.
We'll
Yeah.
pause for a second. Yeah.
Okay.
until that poll
I got
is
a poll
done.
running, and I do believe we've got a super chat here I need to read. So
Yeah, let's get to the super chat.
there's a poll there. If you're in the chat, you can vote on that poll. I put 3 options on there for Georgia Tech. You guys can make the decision on that. The Big Lubbock says, Moan, do you have a clip of Red Raiders Coming at You by Red Steagle? I don't believe I do. This is a song I have for the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
Makes me want to throw tortillas.
But I will try and look for that and get that added to the board. I actually downloaded a bunch of stuff today. I just did not have a chance to trim it up and add it to the Google Drive. So I will keep that one in mind, Big Lubbock, and we will definitely get that put on there for you Texas Tech fans. Appreciate the super chat, sir.
By the way, the tortilla thing at Texas Tech is like my new favorite, like my most favorite newfound tradition. I love that. I don't know why, but I like that. That's fun.
Hey, I think Colorado played there, and they had a player that got injured or almost injured because he slipped on a tortilla.
That's probably why they didn't the Big 12 make a rule you can't throw things on the field?
There's like 3-strike warning.
Yeah, is that going to apply to the tortillas? Anybody in chat know? Texas Tech.
All I got to say,
somebody?
Texas Tech, don't bring the tortillas to Salt Lake City in late September when we smack you all around and stuff and show you what's up. That's what I'm talking about. That could be the game of the year in the Big 12, guys. Texas Tech at Utah, late September.
And by the way, that super chat takes us a third of the way to the overtime goal. So, third of the way at the 9 o'clock hour. So, let's see if we can make it. We'll do a little overtime after 10 p.m. if we do. I'm going to end this poll, and we're going to see where we're going to put Georgia Tech in this new conference. If we're putting them in the new conference. They are primary at 51%. Must have at 31% and high value fallback at 17%. So we'll go with primary. Yeah, I would put them in.
I would
that
put
order.
them ahead of both of them.
Yeah. Since they almost made the must have, we will put them in primary. I can live with that. Community agrees. So I like this. Georgia Tech, TCU, Duke, probably all getting into best of the rest, primary targets. Now let's talk about the West Virginia Mountaineers. Becky, what do you think about West Virginia?
It's a big brand. God, I hate this. I'm on the fence between primary target and high value fallback. Out of this list, I'm going to put him primary target, but after Duke, I would put him after Duke. I'm on the fence. So.
I've got him as a high value fallback. I think West Virginia's value is intrinsically tied to Pitt. I think the backyard brawl is a huge rivalry. I think that's a big deal. But I think you kind of need both. And I know they hate this. I know every West Virginia fan and every Pitt fan is now swearing at me. But I think you need one or the other.
West Virginia, big time fan base, diehards. loyal. You can see West Virginia fans in Utah. Like seriously, I run into them all the time. It's crazy. And so they are close to a primary target. The only thing is market that's kind of knocking them down a half peg to a high value fallback. So I'm okay with putting them there. They're likely, very likely in during a 16-team scenario, though, even as a high value fallback. But that's a good place for West Virginia. And they're going to be placed there probably pretty high in that category because of the fan base, the football history. Moving on. North Carolina State.
Let me read this super chat here real quick. Laura Weiss says, y'all are killing me. Hashtag 15-1. We haven't even got to Texas Tech, Laura Weiss. You don't even know what we're going to do there. But since I already played a Texas Tech song, and since college football starts tomorrow, guys, let's do a little of this.
Go.
By the way, did you guys see that Stanford Hawaii game is on prime time on Saturday on CBS?
Really?
Yeah. It's at 1:30 Hawaii time, so 4:30 Pacific.
Go Cardinal. That's all I can say.
7:30 Eastern, guys.
Wait, you said what time is it in Hawaii, Becky?
1:30 Hawaii time.
Okay.
That game's going to start. So 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If I got my time zones right. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But yeah, that's what I thought I read. But it's on CBS.
Should get over a billion viewers, you'd hope, for that game. You'd hope.
All
right. So, Moan, any other comments that we need to get to?
No, that was the only super chat. I just want to try and make sure we get to super chats as quickly as we can to thank our fans.
How close are we to overtime?
We were at 6 out of 15, so we're a little way over 30.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, so we're moving on here. NC State, the Wolfpack. Moan, can we get that Wolfpack sounder? Give me that Wolfpack
I'll
sounder.
do it one more time. And by the way, I'll just say this. North Carolina State's a must-have.
Must have. You must have North Carolina State, the football, passionate fan base, the stadium, the state, everything. I want them. They're public school. Give me them over Duke all day long, baby.
Yeah, I've got them as must-have. If Duke's not a must-have, then North Carolina State has to be the must-have, because you have to get into that market in North Carolina. Have to.
Yeah, they're critical. They are critical for best of the rest. They're critical for Big 12 expansion. North Carolina State controls a lot, actually, with the fallout from like the Power 2 realm. Everything is a powerful brand, so must-have. The first must-have. They are going to get into this best of the rest conference if it forms North Carolina State Wolfpack. Now we're going to the Pitt Panthers. And Moan, what is your assessment, your analysis of Pitt?
High value fallback.
Yeah, if West Virginia is a high value fallback, so is Pitt, in my opinion. They're basically one and the same. You want to get one or the other. You can get both. Great.
I think you want West Virginia over Pitt any day.
I would put Pitt behind West Virginia.
Pitt might be a strategic ad, guys. What do you think about that?
I think that you have to look at the overall of a university, an institution, a program. I've got Pitt as a high value fallback. Listen, I mean, yeah, I get it. They play in a pro stadium. Their football program has not been great as of late. But they do have a few national championships, some Heisman winners. Whether or not they ever get back there, who knows? But yeah, I've got Pitt, high value fallback. I think especially too, if you're going to add some of these academic schools, like a Stanford, an Arizona State, some of these AAU schools, they're going to want other AAU schools. So I think it's good. as a high value fallback.
All right. Behind West Virginia, high value fallback, Pitt Panthers. That's where they fall. And now we're moving on to the Stanford Cardinals. Stanford on the tier list 1 through 5. Where do they fall with their declining brand, their elite academics, their big state? It's a mixed bag of good and bad with the Cardinal.
Boy, I'm gonna stir the hornet's nest here. Stanford, I've got as a primary target. Olympic sports, very good Olympic sports. If you're building out a western wing of this conference, we have Cal on here, but Stanford, if you can get between Stanford and Cal, I think you'd rather have Stanford. Cal has money issues. They can't figure out who's the coach and who's the director of football operations. The boosters and the administration are at each other's throats. You got to get into California. California, huge market, huge recruiting. Got to have a California school. This is why I have Stanford as a primary target.
So here's the thing. There's this weird thing about Stanford being this quote-unquote elitist school because they didn't want to join the Big 12 and they chose to go to the ACC, and because that was the rumor. But I'll be blunt, like Stanford, they're kind of like Cal. They're very laid back. They will go where the money goes. They're not elitist in any way, shape, or form. That's not their style. They come across snobby because their name is Stanford. They're not snobby at all. But people need to put that to the side. Money is money. Stanford's going to go where they can make the most money. They're the richest program. They're the richest school in America in the FBS. Period. Can't argue it.
Where do they fall?
They're going to fall. I'm like Moen. They're a primary target. They give you California. They give you a chance to play in the Bay Area, where there's great recruiting grounds. Those kids can come watch your team play. Again, if you're a school and people say it's not about academics, no, it certainly is when you want master's programs. That's what this is all about. It makes it easier for kids to transfer in between the schools when you're trying to get your postgraduate degrees.
Yeah, in addition, Stanford, they get to maintain their access to the Ivy Public Library Confederation. They don't have to give that up like they would if they joined the Big Ten. So, and that's important to them to protect that, to protect all that money. That's why I say they would probably be down for a conference like this, especially if you're bringing in Duke and Georgia Tech. I think that helps significantly.
Stanford falls behind Duke in the pecking order, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
Again, Duke's basketball is going to elevate them over a number of these schools.
It's a good breakout, good analysis of Stanford. Now, we've got to really talk about what we're building here, because hey, we need football, we need basketball, and we need schools that can coexist and fit. You guys just mentioned that. That brings up the next candidate here, Brigham Young University. Brigham Young University, when everything is considered, not just football, brand, and everything else, where do they fit on this list? We're doing this realistic, guys. Realistic.
You want me to? Okay.
If we're doing it realistic, let's just call it like it is.
I've got BYU as a must-have. I have BYU as a must-have. It's a huge brand. It's an international brand. They're investing heavily in basketball. They're investing in their football product. They do have a national championship. I'm putting BYU as a must-have. I think that is your cornerstone in the West is Brigham Young University.
Since we're looking at it realistically, I can go back and change my thought on this. BYU is a must-have. You have to have them. You have to have them. Just too big of a brand. And I say that fully believing that Utah is probably the bigger brand amongst the casual fan. But, because they played in bigger games over the years. They've had better success in the last 20, 25 years than BYU. But you can't beat that worldwide brand. That thing is ridiculous.
Okay. I'm hearing you guys. Tell me how that works with Stanford, Duke, and Georgia Tech. Why didn't BYU get in the Pac-12 conference, in other words?
Well, again, I think if you're going to put it that way,
we're doing this realistic.
You're going to find a way to keep. Okay, but why keep Notre Dame? You know what I mean? It's the same thing that kept Notre Dame out of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
It's anti-religious sentiment against Mormons because they don't happen to believe the same things that Stanford does. I don't think Stanford is really going to be care that much that BYU's in the conference as long as they're making money. And again, BYU, huge brand. There are Mormons all over the world. South Pacific, bring you good recruiting into the South Pacific. I've got them as a must-have. I'm sorry, but they're a must-have in my book.
I will say this. There were a lot of politics involved with them not getting into the Pac-12. But the biggest thing at the time, people say, oh, it's Pac-12 snobs. Who was better back in 2010 at football? Who was better? It was Utah. End of story. Like, we don't have to even argue that. We know that. Fresh coming off, playing in playing in big time bowl games, going undefeated. Urban Meyer was there. That's the reason why they got left out. Utah, the Pac-12 only wanted to go to 12. You took the bigger brand at the time, but BYU was like, okay, we'll go independent because they didn't want to stay in their conference, and it worked out well for them. But they're a must-have in this scenario because they built their brand, and like it or not, like Stanford's not anti-religion. They're not. They play Notre Dame every year. They're not anti-religion. They probably have some of their best graduates ever were probably Mormon. Who knows? They definitely have Mormons on the team. They have a number of Polynesian guys. They're going to have Mormons. It's okay. They're just, if anything, they think they're a better school, and they are. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can't even argue it. So, I got them as a must-have. You have to have BYU. They're going to bring the most money out of what's left, other than a couple of these schools. You got to have them.
I think that anything that I say will, not be taken seriously since it's a rival. But I very much disagree with the assessment, guys. And so I think we should leave it up to the community on where BYU falls. BYU, this has even been reported on and stuff locally in newspapers with the Pac-12 stuff. BYU culturally and stuff, there was pushback against Pac-12 schools out in BYU. And I disagree with that approach, but you can't tell me that's changed.
Okay,
Stanford, Georgia Tech, TCU.
What option would you put them at?
Last resort. They last resort, 100%. But that's, again, no one cares because that's the rival, right? So let's put it to the.
I'll put it to the. We're only going to give them two options. It's a must-have or a last resort. I completely understand where the Pac was coming from. They disagreed with the Mormon church's views on LGBTQ stuff and the racial stuff that wasn't resolved until the 1970s. But
I get all of it. I will say, the history of BYU, yes, that played a part. But BYU did no favors in what happened in California with that proposition. They did no favors to themselves. That pretty much killed any chance they had. So, and because they're connected to the church, I get it.
And again, I think you have to go back and look. Fielding Yost kept Notre Dame out of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Almost 100 years ago, and look at that. If it
USC couldn't get into the Pac-12 100 years ago until after they left the church, because they were founded by Methodists. So
Yeah. So I mean,
there's a lot to it. I get it.
I get it. No, I completely understand where you're coming
it's
from. I understand
complicated.
the argument.
Well, because I
And
mean,
like
SMU
it's
was
complicated.
being considered for the Pac-12 because they basically severed their ties with the Methodist Church.
Yeah, and like you're looking culturally, like for like a research institutions, AAU schools, and everything, just very different, right? Like Baylor, BYU. Look, I get it. Like you guys, like if it's football only and everything, that's one thing. But like if you're going to be aligned in a conference, and we're going to do this thing and not throw Florida State and Clemson in and do it as accurately as possible, I just don't believe that can coexist. That's my view of it. And I'll align with what the community says. It's just being honest about this and stuff. And it's the ugly side of conference realignment. It's the ugly side about it, but it's real. And that was reported on and stuff in papers and everything, why BYU never got in the Pac-12. It exists, and you've got to speak to it.
I completely understand that, but where is the Pac-12 now?
Pac-12's gone.
It still
still
exists, but it's not
Still there.
an autonomous four conference. So trusting the Pac-12's judgment on certain things, it didn't end well for them. So we're going to go ahead and end this poll. Let's go ahead and see where we're at. 74 to 25%. BYU was a must-have.
Okay. Moving on to Arizona. Where does Arizona fall?
I've got Arizona as a primary target. Big market. The basketball program has kind of fallen off in recent years, but I think they can get that basketball program back. I'm not going to put them ahead of a Duke or a Kansas or, any of these other basketball powers, but I would put them as a primary target in front of Stanford.
Yeah, primary target in front of Stanford. Basketball kind of elevates them ahead of Stanford. Women's basketball counted, Stanford would be higher.
Okay.
They have 2 national titles. Arizona's one.
That makes sense. Yeah, behind Duke right there.
Yeah.
For Arizona. How about Syracuse?
Strategic ad.
That's strategic.
Strategic ad.
I mean, New York's a big market. We can say that out loud. New York's a massive TV market. Like LA, it's a huge market. That you would just be adding them because you get a footprint in the New York market. That's it.
All right, let's throw Syracuse in there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Syracuse, you could even make the argument high value fallback, but it's the problem with Syracuse right now is their basketball program is down.
Yeah.
And that has traditionally been their bread and butter. Their football program's on the upswing. Again, we'll have to see how Fran Brown does in year 2. He doesn't have Kyle McCord anymore. He doesn't have that 5-star quarterback. We'll have to see how they do. But they've got to do something to get their basketball program back on track.
Virginia Tech.
Primary target.
Primary target. Actually, they might be a must-have in this scenario.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you, Ute. I would put Virginia Tech as a must-have.
I might be convinced to make a must-have, but I want to know what you guys are thinking, because I know that they technically bring you the Virginia market, like as a state, and get you into DC. But I mean, they're not the only thing in DC.
I agree with you, but I think Virginia Tech's brand, the Virginia Tech brand, still has enough out. Now, listen, they got to get this football thing figured out.
Yeah, they got to get
since Frank Beamer left, they have not got it right. Again, I think they should have went out there and offered Shane Beamer whatever he wanted to get him this year, but they didn't. They can't afford to continue to slip. But right now, Virginia Tech, there's still enough people who remember Beamer ball. There's still enough people who remember Michael Vick for the good reason. So Virginia Tech is still a very, very valuable brand, in my opinion.
Virginia Tech adds a lot to this theoretical conference, brand, stadium, fan base, new market, gets you into DC market. I just think that this is the kind of brand that you really want to build this best of the rest off of. Great academics, research focused. I mean, it checks a lot of the boxes that a lot of these other schools want to be affiliated with, guys. And so if you're putting NC State as a must-have, Virginia Tech, not in front of NC State, but right behind them as a must-have.
Yeah, I would put them ahead of B. If they're a must, I'm okay with making them a must-have. I mean, if they're gonna be a must-have, yeah, they're, like I said, I think that having lived in Virginia, I fully believe that they are the number one brand in the state of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
As a whole, I actually went to a Virginia Tech Miami game back in the day. Michael Vick did not play. That made me mad. Was the whole point of going. But no, I'm fully on board with it. I'm okay with it. I had him as like high primary target, but it's totally okay. They would be a bigger brand than BYU right now.
So let's pause the tier maker. We've gone over a lot of schools, a lot of material. I'm jumping over. I'm looking here. I've been out of the comments for a sec. There's almost 1,000 comments that I'm seeing here, Mo. There's a lot of stuff that we need to talk about.
There are. We've only got about 30 minutes left in the show unless we hit the overtime goal. So we may have to kind of speed run this here. Sure. But let me get to this super chat from our friend Fergie. You can speed this up by putting Miami, number 18 in the Winsipedia, and Colorado, number 24, and Arizona State, number 32 in the must-have. Couple of the most hated programs the past 35 years. Utah is also a must-have. Okay, well, since he says Utah is a must-have, and we already played the Colorado song, just for you, so he'll feel a little bit better about himself since we added BYU. Here's Utah, man.
There we go, baby.
Thank you for the super chat, Fergie. That is much appreciated. We're about halfway to the overtime goal. So if you guys want overtime, make sure you leave those super chats. Got another one, Becky. Go Huskies. Let's fucking go. This is fun. Hot Take City. We are now past halfway for the overtime goal. We're at an 8 out of 15. We need 7 more to hit that overtime goal. We'll do overtime past 10 p.m. But thank you for the super chat, Becky. I will give you a little Washington siren.
Give her that siren.
There you go.
I feel like I just scored. Touchdown, Huskies. FYI, that is exactly what happens too, by the way.
I know. That's why I added it for the Washington sounder. I try and add as many team sounds as I can for people. I saw somebody requesting the tortoise O-face.
No, please.
Well, we're going to have to wait for a super chat for that. We cannot do that without a super chat, but we will do that if we get the super chat. So
going to need a Tarleton for that one.
Yeah.
I think
tortoise might need a Tarleton afterwards.
I think we're going to be able to go really quick through these next 5.
All right. All right, here we go. Arizona State. Arizona State Sun Devils, are they a must-have, primary target, high-value fallback, strategic add, or last resort?
Must-have.
Moan?
I've got him as a high-value fallback.
What? No.
I do.
Moan.
I think Arizona is more valuable because of the basketball. Hear me out. I think Arizona is more valuable because of the basketball. I've got him as a high-value fallback, but I completely understand where you're coming from if you want to put him as a primary target. Must-have, though, I have an issue if you're calling them must-have.
I'm calling them must-have. They are the top-rated team in the state of Arizona. Phoenix is a top 10 media market. People watch Arizona State football. Arizona State football is not as successful as Arizona basketball, clearly, but I mean, unlike Arizona, they have a little bit better history in football. They've been to a Rose Bowl. They win a lot of games. And being a Husky, I absolutely detest playing in the desert because we suck there and weird crap happens. They're a must-have. That like Arizona State is a huge school. Have you guys seen the cheerleaders?
I have not, Becky, but
they're a must-have.
Must-have. Okay, Becky's got them as a must-have. You, what do you have them as? You?
I've got Arizona State as a must-have. A must-have because of the market. If we're putting Arizona as a primary target and not a must-have, one of the two, if not both, need to be in 100%. You need the backbone of Arizona. It's a growing state, great recruiting. You got to have that state. Arizona State is the biggest brand in the state, in my view, and the highest upside growth out of the two. And like, we're funding this thing, the growing football program, momentum and everything. Give me Arizona State. I'm buying big time, must have.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a $99.99 super chat from our friend Vox Quindaro.
Touchdown, Vox.
In honor of KU opening the new booth tomorrow, here you go.
Let's
Rock
go
out with your chalk out.
Let's go.
I need to get the Kansas fight song on here, but Vox, I know Vox wants to hear the turtle.
He wants to hear turtle.
Oh, turtle didn't quite finish there. Premature. Hold on.
Oh, it's gross, Moan.
What do you mean? That's exactly gross. That's what I sound like too. Don't say it's gross. And then we'll just we'll give him another one of these.
Oh my God.
The most rewarding part was when he gave me my money.
Thank you for that. And let's give him a little Mr. Show Wild, man.
Probably gonna die. I knew, man. I knew I'd never make it to 30 because I'm a wild man. Because I party.
Let's move Kansas up in the tier maker too.
Well, Kansas is a must-have anyway. So
let's go to KU. All right. In honor of Vox, much appreciated for the super chat. Good luck tomorrow. Big 12 needs a good, strong Kansas win over Fresno. You'll get it. And KU is sliding up here into the second position, and we're just going to throw Arizona State. Moan, can you live with Arizona State as a must-have in the back row?
All right. I'm going to allow it. Arizona State fans, again, it's not against Arizona State. It's just I think Arizona is a little more valuable.
Okay. Well, all right. We're on KU. Vox is Jayhawk. Give him a Jayhawk squawk again, if you wouldn't mind, Moan. Okay, so KU.
KU is.
Where do they fall?
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Becky?
I mean, they're must-have. Like, that's the one you want. Weirdly, the biggest brand out of all of them, according to all that stuff that we saw, like, value-wise, which is wild to me. I would have thought it was Oklahoma State, but it turned out it was Kansas.
Agreed. Okay, Moan?
Yeah, it's Kansas, and I'm going to put them right neck and neck with North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Kansas, blue blood basketball, huge new stadium, $300 million gift from David Booth. Let me try and pull this one up here for Steve Moser for the Dr. Nick Riviera reference alone. Thank you, Steve. As you'll see, we've got the KU Jayhawk Evolution going in the right corner. That is for Vox Quindaro and, of course, Steve Moser. He is a Jayhawk as well.
I'm still a fan of that original Jayhawk. I don't know why, but I think that thing is hilarious.
legs.
Yeah.
Look at the legs.
Absolutely, and we'll go ahead and we'll give him another Simpsons reference.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Thank you for the super chat, Nick or Steve. Called you Nick Rivera. Hey, Dr. Nick. Thank you for the super chat. Both of you, Vox Quindaro, that huge 99.99 super chat. I think that's going to put us over the overtime mark. We're going to run overtime tonight. And then thank you, Steve Moser, for that super chat. Much appreciated, sir. Yeah, Kansas must have blue blood basketball, huge stadium renovation, $300 million gift from David Booth. They're going to invest in college football. They're going to invest in college basketball. AAU, Kansas, huge school. I think that has to be near the top.
I think KU is number one. You can build something like this with KU as one of the foundational pieces. Of course, brand, basketball, investment is close to KC. I think that is valuable enough that you got to have them. They are must-have. NC State's right there is close, but give me the Jayhawks based on brand. So there we go. We've got a new number one school, must-have at the moment, and now we're moving on to Colorado, the Buffaloes. So, Becky, where does CU fall?
I have them as primary target right after Georgia Tech. I think they'd be a higher target than TCU, but they would definitely be somebody you want to have. I think you don't have to have them, but you want them.
Moan?
I'm going to put Colorado as a must-have. The Denver market, again, I think if you're going to build this conference, you're going to have a West Coast wing. I think Colorado can be an anchor in that along with BYU. That's why I have them as a must-have.
I have them as a primary target. Primary target, I'm okay if they're behind Georgia Tech. Look, Becky and I remember many, many years of bad CU football, no fan base, no viewership. Prime's gone there. How long is he going to stay there? What happens when Prime leaves?
I do believe I'm with Fergie. I think the fan base sticks around. I think it rejuvenated him, but I don't know if they could last another 10 years of crap football. That happened again.
Is it? This is where I'll push. Is it the fan base or casual Dion watchers that watch Colorado football?
It's a lot of casual Dion watchers.
It is.
Honestly, say that. But we would have the only way to know that is you'd have to go back to when they were in the Big 12 and see the viewership numbers then. And then the year that they were really good in the Pac-12, the years there they were competing for to get to win the South. Those are the only things you could look at to kind of get a good gauge on them viewership wise. Yeah, I mean Washington went 0-12. They're in the Big 12 now, or Big 10 now. Colorado can be Colorado. Their viewers are up because of Prime, but I don't think they joined the Pac-12 because they got eyeballs. That's still a thing. And they do bring you the Denver market. There is no bigger program in Denver. Colorado State.
Maybe they are a must-have. Are they going to sneak into must-have?
Here's the thing, I listen, you brought it up. Are they casual Prime watchers or the Colorado fans? Does it really matter? If Prime's there the next 5 years, you know what the ratings are going to be for Colorado. Yeah.
Here's my concern with some of the analysis that you throw out. You see things very short term. This is a 20, 50-year play.
I understand that, but all boats rise with the tide. Colorado's ratings compared to the rest of the Big 12 right now, it's a massive disparity.
There's a gap.
There's a huge gap.
Oh, it's a gap.
So if Colorado's TV numbers stay the same for the next 2-3 years, when you start negotiating this with private equity and for a media deal, you're going to need that Colorado float in order to get everybody up and get the value up. So for that reason, I have Colorado as a must-have. Second of all, I don't think Dion's going to leave the cupboard bare. I think whoever takes over for Dion, probably going to be a pretty good name. Probably going to be ready to continue that. So
I'd agree with that. there's a lot of people who say it's the prime effect. Yes, there's a prime effect, but I mean, look at that gap. That's 2 million viewers. That's insane.
Yes, they're almost close to a quarter of the total viewers for a 16-team conference year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dominate viewership
If
right
you're
now.
private
100%.
equity, if you're a private equity firm and you want to build your own conference, like we're talking about, you're taking that.
Yeah.
That, I had him as I didn't have him as a must-have because I think you could take him or leave him, but like they're gonna get you eyeballs. They're gonna bring you money. They have. I guess I would have to move them up to must-have. I just talked myself into it.
All right. I can align with this. So let's get the tier maker back on and put Colorado into the must-have category based on the compelling arguments made by Moan. So the Buffaloes, where do they rank? Where do they fall? Are they ahead?
I'd put them right there. I'd put them right in front of BYU and in between Virginia Tech and BYU is where I would put them.
That's right.
Okay, there we go. So Colorado's in. Must-have, market, eyeballs, momentum. Okay, we're moving on to an interesting tier maker candidate here, and that's the University of Houston. Where does Houston fall in the realm of must-have, primary target, high-value fallback, strategic ads, or last resort?
You go ahead, Becky. I'll let you go first.
Oh, people might hate me. Last resort. They don't do anything.
I'm with you, last resort.
They don't do anything.
I'm with you.
We put them on here, but like there were better schools, but we just, we have Texas pretty much covered, and they don't bring Houston. They really don't bring much of Houston. They get you into Houston's market, but with the right, like with the other Texas schools that we have that potentially could be on here or in this conference, they would do a lot better. And A&M owns Houston.
I would put them as strategic ads, but I'm not going to argue.
Somebody needs to be a last resort.
Yeah, I
all the schools
agree.
we're seeing,
I completely agree. MBM says just go ahead and put Oklahoma State as number one must-have, number one athletic program in the current Big 12. Okay, let's give him a little. He is a fan of Cartman doing the cowboy thing. As soon as I can find that, here it is.
I'm a badass cowboy living in the cowboy days. Wicky, wicky, scratch, yo, yo, bang, bang. Me and Artemis, large ball, go save Sam, high act from the big metal spider. A wicky, 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 fresh cowboy from the west side.
Thank you for the super chat, MBM. Let's see where
Thank you.
OSU ends up. I don't know that they're going to end up as number one must-have, but we'll see.
All right, so OSU is moving up because of the super chat. We will talk about Oklahoma State right now. Okay, listen here. Oklahoma State is a must-have. Historical ratings, football quality, huge and passionate fan base. And again, guys, over a long period of time, consistent, strong viewership in football. They feel good basketball. They've got a good Olympic sports. You need somebody in the Midwest in the state of Oklahoma. They're your choice. They're a foundational piece, in my mind's eye, to the best of the rest. They are certainly a must-have.
I got him.
Go ahead, Becky.
I got him as
go
a
ahead.
primary. I got him as the number one primary target. I don't think they're a must-have. I think you can have a good conference without them. Yes, they get you eyeballs. They don't own their market. They overlap. They overlap the SEC. Two big powerhouse SEC programs. I just think they would be my number one primary target. If I couldn't get the must-have, like the top must-haves, then I want them next. So they would be my primary target. I could live without them. Essentially is what I'm saying.
I agree. I'm going to have a primary target between Georgia Tech and TCU. And it's nothing against the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I just think Stillwater is a very small market. They do have a very passionate fan base. let's see if Gundy can get it back on track this year. But the Cowboys should be doing so much better than they are. But yeah, I primary target for me between Georgia Tech and TCU.
You know what? This wouldn't even be a big deal if they could get Bedlam going.
If they could just, I don't know, turn it around and get some wins. They had that great running back last year, just didn't, he was a Heisman favorite coming into the season, just kind of petered out. Since Jim Knowles left, that defense just hasn't been the same. I think Oklahoma State needs to do something, whether that's replace Gundy at this point or figure something out. Yeah.
I think Gundy is on his last legs at Oklahoma State. They don't win it. They don't make a bowl game this year. I think he's fired. Like they pretty much made that clear after last season. And I'll say it out loud, I have no faith in them making a bowl game this year. Like none. But they're that weird team that can win only, one game, like whatever it was a year ago, 1-2 games, and then turn around and go 11-1 this year. They're weird like that, and you can't say that they're not. They just do that. So.
And yeah, it's just Oklahoma State was so good for so many years, and they just recently fallen off. That takes a toll on Oklahoma State. I think it really does. It takes a toll, especially when you've been good for a decade and then you just fall off.
Yeah.
Okay. They've been placed in second position in the primary targets. They're probably comfortable in if this thing expands out to 16 teams, which it likely would, maybe even 20 schools. So Oklahoma State is sitting good in primary target position number 2, and now the Miami Hurricanes.
Well, listen, if you're going to get the Miami Hurricanes, they're a must-have. They're number one overall, 5 national championships. You're in South Florida, huge market, huge recruiting area. If Miami is available, it's the number one must-have of all these schools.
Becky?
No, I agree. It's the number one must-have. If you're going to have a school, you have to have Miami. Like, they are the top. They are borderline a blue blood at this point, historically now. Like, you have to have them. When Miami's good, they are a ratings boom. Cannot disagree with that. Like,
number one must-have, recruiting, market, history, ratings, no-brainer, number one.
And they're the number one brand on this list, period.
Yeah, they are. They are. And so I don't think anyone's going to really disagree with that one. Miami's in the first position. They will be the cornerstone of this best of the rest concept as the Miami Hurricanes if they were in this. So critical piece, number one must-have, and a no-brainer. And now here is something that's not a no-brainer. The Cal Bears. Where does Cal fall on the best of the rest list? And let's look where Stanford is right now. They're the primary target.
Cal is the last resort.
I'm leaning towards last resort as well.
I have them as a strategic ad. If Syracuse is a strategic ad, Cal's a strategic ad for the same reason.
I'm falling in the last resort.
You do it just so you can get to California. Just so you can get to California. That's it. That's the only reason why you do it.
It's compelling.
Like you would want to. You want the San Francisco. They give you the San Francisco market, however tiny it is. It's the number 4 market in the country, 5 market, whatever it is. Like Bay Area, they would be strategic as all get go. When Cal is good, people watch them, and their fans are smart. When they're bad, they don't go. They basically tell you. We're not. By the way, did you see that game against Miami last year? That stadium was rocking, and they're good. People come to watch them.
Yeah, but listen, Cal is such
Cal's perfect, so
it's dysfunctional. Cal is dysfunctional. do you really want to bring a dysfunctional school into your new Power 3 conference? I don't think you really
Here's
do.
the thing with Cal. They come across as dysfunctional, but being in the Pac-12, they just go with the flow. If you wanted something done, Cal would probably just vote yes.
They probably would. I don't disagree with that. But listen, they've got a great coach in Justin Wilcox, and the boosters are withholding money because they believe Ron Rivera should be the head coach. And the administration is just wishy-washy. They do not have a opinion on it, and they're in incredible debt. I got Cal last resort. There's just too many negatives against Cal.
Like I said, I'm okay with it, but I mean, the same reasons that Syracuse is a strategic ad, Cal would be too. They just give you a footprint in a market. Stanford's alumni don't all live in California. Cal's pretty much do.
Who's a bigger brand between Houston and Cal?
Cal. By a mile, it's Cal.
Moan, I'm putting Cal in strategic ad behind Syracuse.
Let's see. David Kreitzer with the super chat. Undefeated Utah throttled Saban's number 4 Crimson Tide, 31-7 in the 2009 Sugar Bowl. Well, we're going to talk about it. We won't let everything go for that. So I already played a Utah sounder, though. Let me see what else I got here.
Let's go.
Let's do a little Sopranos.
A grown man made a wager. He lost. He made another one. He lost again. End of story. So take that high moral ground and go sleep in a fucking bus station if you want.
Describing me perfectly. Thank you, David Kreitzer, for the super
Thank
chat.
you, David. All right, here we go. We're on. So Cal's been placed. We're on to the Utes. Becky?
I mean, they're like right on the fence of must-have, primary target. They're interchangeable essentially with BYU. You would have to have one or the other. Like you have to have one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's my issue here. Like you have, I guess they're must-have because you would have to have BYU or you would have to have Utah. They both get ratings. They both rank. They're both like Salt Lake City is the thing. There's a lot of people, you know, but I don't know if they're more important than like Arizona State. But if BYU is a must-have, then Utah has to be too.
Moan?
I've got them as a primary target at the very
cool with
bottom, behind Stanford.
Ooh, Stanford. I wouldn't go that far down.
That's too bad, Moan, because Utah is definitely a must-have. So where are they?
Then they're at the very back of must-have.
They're at the very back of the must-haves.
Very back of the must-haves, huh?
Back. Yeah. Like I said,
Moan, give your rationale. Moan, give your rationale.
Easy. You've got it's a duplication of market. BYU gets you the Salt Lake City market. And I understand there's diehard Utah fans, and I understand what Utah has been able to accomplish over the last 25 years. It's incredible. They went from the Mountain West to the Pac-12. They won a couple Pac-12 titles. I'm not taking anything away from Utah, but I think BYU is the bigger brand in the state of Utah. You know, and that's it. I mean, that's my thinking. That's why I would put them as a primary target and not a must-have.
Okay.
See, I think Utah's a bigger brand than BYU, but so close, it's ridiculous. That's what I said. One has to be a must-have. One of them, you have to have one. You have to have one or the other, no matter what.
This is an impossible.
You
got to have one or the other. Like, this is an impossible conversation. No matter what I say, either way, it's going to be discounted because I've got bias.
Let's move Arizona State ahead of BYU. Let's just.
No, I'm not doing that.
Like, I'm going back to it, guys. It's that same thing. Like, I just can never see BYU get into a conference like this based on what we talked about before. Like, look, we already hashed that out and everything. I just don't think this is a realistic list. And that's where I'm going to leave it.
I'll say this. We left out Kansas State and Iowa State because of duplication of market. One of these two is a duplication of the market.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to have one or the other. That's what sucks. That's why I'm on the fence.
I tend to agree with you, Ute. This isn't a realistic list because I do believe Miami's going power 2. I believe Kansas is probably going power 2. I believe Georgia Tech is probably going power 2. I believe Duke is probably going power 2. So yeah, it's not realistic in that sense. But listen, Utah, BYU, I got to give the edge to BYU. And I completely understand. You're a Utah fan. I would never ask you to disparage your school or put them below BYU, but just objectively looking at this as a Big Ten homer and a college football fan, BYU is in front of Utah.
Okay, moving on to Texas Tech.
Must have.
Yeah, it's a must-have. I don't know where you're going to put them in this lineup. Probably between BYU and Arizona State, or Arizona.
No, guys,
State,
I don't
Utah.
have them as a must-have, as a primary target. I don't have Texas Tech as a must-have.
Well, let's do a
Tell me
poll.
why they're a must-have. Tell me why they're a must-have.
We'll do
why?
a poll.
Because Cody Campbell?
Well, I'll tell you what. No, I'll tell you why they're must-have.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You have to have a brand in Texas. You have to have a brand in Texas. Of the brands,
Give me TCU over Texas Tech.
Of the brands we have from Texas, I think Texas Tech is the bigger brand. And
but they don't bring the market. Think about this from a private capital standpoint. Who do you want to add?
I would take Texas Tech. They give you a better market over TCU and Dallas-Fort Worth. TCU just gets you a footprint there, but Texas Tech gets you more eyeballs there.
Do they?
Important.
That's not what the ratings have shaken out. This is very interesting, okay? When you look at the ratings over the last 10 years, it's not really aligning with what you guys are actually speaking of in some of these cases. It's just, it's stuck in the mind a little bit. But on paper, that's not the case at all.
I mean,
TCU gets better ratings.
I'm talking as a pure college football fan. I recognize Texas Tech after the years with Mike Leach more so than I recognize anything with TCU, other than they had a couple of runs. I know they had the Damian Tomlinson. They had a great group that won a Rose Bowl. And then they made a national title. But like Texas Tech, they're going to go 8-5. But they're investing so heavily, and I fully feel like they have more fans in Dallas-Fort Worth than TCU. TCU is a small school. Texas Tech is not tiny by any stretch.
Texas Tech is the next Oregon, in my opinion.
Probably is.
They're investing huge amounts of money in football. I think they're going to take the approach of take on all comers. I think you're going to see Texas Tech go out there and schedule tough opponents, even on the road. I would not be shocked to see them start scheduling SEC and Big Ten opponents. I think they're going to start climbing and climbing and climbing. And that's why I have them as a primary target. I think the money they're investing, the football program they're trying to put together. Listen, Joey McGuire, I don't know if he's the guy yet. I really don't know if he's the guy. But listen, it's not like they can't afford to get the guy if Joey isn't. They can afford to go out there and pay $10 million to get an Urban Meyer or a Chris Peterson or any great number of coaches and let them know, hey, here's an unlimited budget essentially to go recruit with. So for me, Texas Tech is a must-have, but we'll turn to the poll. The poll's probably not going to tell us very much, but we'll end the poll now. We'll see what it says. It's 53-46 primary target.
Yep, I think that's exactly where they fall. I don't think, based on market, there's no way I could put them over Oklahoma State or TCU. I put them right here in front of Duke. I'm serious, guys. Like, I know Texas Tech. Like, hey, I know they've got momentum and everything, but that can stop tomorrow. They don't They don't have the market to support.
I get it.
Investment,
I get
man.
it.
They don't. That's
I
straight
get
up.
it. I get it.
Neither does Oregon.
Oklahoma State. Yeah, neither does Oregon.
Oregon doesn't have a great market either, but the fact is that they invested huge sums of money in football. They went out there, they played the biggest people they could. Yeah, they lost some of those games. They got absolutely shellacked by Georgia. But because Oregon was willing to do that, Oregon actually managed to get into the Big Ten. And they have no business being in the Big Ten. They're not a Big Ten school.
Oregon's the only of the additions. Oregon's the only one without a market. UCLA got in because of the market.
I mean, Oregon's given.
Oregon's not even the number one.
Oregon's given Portland. It's the biggest school in the state. It's the biggest school in that state. Texas Tech's 5 in Texas.
It's the biggest school in that state in terms of viewers, but Oregon State is the bigger school in Oregon. I kid you not. Like,
from a viewership
I have met
standpoint.
most Oregon fans I have ever met are from Florida. They're a national brand.
And that's not a bad thing that Oregon went and did that.
No, it's smart.
And I think if Texas Tech does the same thing and goes out there and schedules some of these massive schools and gets that brand built up over the next 3, 4, 5 years, I think that would be incredible. I would actually put them in front of TCU. I would.
Yeah, I would put them in front of TCU. I will say this: the comparison, like Oregon State is the flagship school of Oregon. That's how big Oregon State is in the state of Oregon.
I love Oregon State, Becky, but come on, we got to be real about things here.
Yeah, Washington has a bigger market share of Portland than Oregon does. They really do. It is
Becky, no, they don't. No, they don't, Becky.
Yes, you think I'm lying. They really do. You've been down to Portland? Oregon State, Washington are what you see most of the time. Oregon fans don't live in Oregon. Ask Oregon State fans. They don't live in Oregon. Most of their fan base lives outside of Oregon.
I have a different view of Oregon completely. I guess see, Oregon is much more valuable than you guys do.
No, they're high value because they're a national brand. They get their viewers from across the country. They don't get them from their own state.
And Texas Tech hasn't put up any ratings over the last decade. Yeah, you guys want to throw them like they want to crown them. Like, give me something, show me the ratings. You don't got the market, give me the ratings. You don't got either of them. You're lucky to be a primary target. TCU's got the ratings and the market. I mean, playing them ahead of TCU is criminal. It's criminal, guys.
They got a $28 million roster. They're
going to lose to Utah in late September.
Again, if I don't know that Joey McGuire's the guy, but the next guy they hire will be. Listen, when you're pulling 5-star recruits as a Big 12 team, that means something.
Yeah.
And Texas Tech is pulling 5-star recruits. Now, obviously, they're overpaying for them, but they're pulling them. So,
well, yeah, and we'll see if they can even. I think that they're eventually probably going to get sanctioned. They're paying you guys. I don't. This is a different conversation. You guys are buying Texas Tech. I'm not buying Texas Tech. Give me TCU over this one. I'm almost halfway. We've been on this one for a while.
Yeah,
it's hard to let this one go. Because which Texas school do we want more, TCU or Texas Tech? If we are investors and we're going to throw a bunch of money into this league and stuff, which one do we want more? Do we want Texas Tech with the bigger fan base, or TCU with the market and the proven viewership and the football history?
Replica says the only brands bigger than TCU in Dallas-Fort Worth is Texas, Oklahoma. Old glory to the Hypnotoad.
Old glory to the Hypnotoad.
We recognize it and we speak your name, Replica. Thank you for the super chat. Auto Raider says you has never understood the cyclical nature of college viewership. We had 3 of the top 7 most watched games in 2008 in all of college football. Auto, I love you, brother. When you got to go back to 2008, that's not a good sign. That is like 16 years ago. Yeah. I mean, it's. Come on.
They can do it this year. They need to put up big ratings this year, or else it's not going to. This isn't going well, guys. If they don't win this year, they don't put up big ratings, this thing could blow up.
Again, I
think they
think
will.
you've got to slow build. I think you have to slow build that program. And I think Texas Tech can pull an Oregon and do what Oregon did and just keep pouring money into it, traveling across the country until you
Just get
catch
the
on.
right billionaire. BYU's got the right billionaire. Texas Tech has the right billionaire. Oregon has the right billionaire. You just need the richest guy you can.
Absolutely. Let's give him a little Texas Tech song here for him. Thank you for the super chat, Auto Raider. Much appreciated, sir. Moving on to the Louisville Cardinal. I've got them behind North Carolina State. I've got them sandwiched in between North Carolina State, Virginia Tech.
I'd agree with that.
Okay. I don't know how you can put Louisville as a must-have if you're putting Georgia Tech as a primary target. I think Louisville's the #1 primary target.
Ahead of Miami?
Primary target.
Oh, okay.
Ahead
I
of
see what you're
Georgia Tech.
saying.
I'm
Okay.
talking about the first tier 2 school, Louisville.
I got to tell you, they're a tier 1 school.
Why is that, Moan?
Basketball program gets you into Kentucky. Good football program. They're only a few years removed from Lamar Jackson. I think Louisville is the best ad for this conference behind Miami and Kansas and North Carolina State.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay. We'll put them in.
Louisville's not the biggest market, and they're not. Kentucky's not the biggest football loving state. They do love football. Don't get me wrong, every state does, but that basketball program under Pitino was so good, and it's a rabid fan base for basketball in the state of Kentucky. Moen, do they get anything in Southern Ohio at all? Or
no, not much. Southern Ohio is a lot of West Virginia. You get some Cincinnati and the Kingdom of Hamilton, as we call it. But it's not much for Louisville. But I mean, Louisville, Jeff Brom taking over his alma mater. He took Purdue. Guys. He took Purdue and made it a winning program. Anybody who can do that, I think he can take Louisville and do wonders with it. I've got Louisville as a must-have, but I completely understand. But I mean, I think half of these primary targets need to move up to must-have. But I would have Louisville as a must-have.
Just don't want to. So Louisville, they're really balanced, really good in a lot of ways, but they're not great in any way. And if we're looking at investment and creating this conference, you're getting into the state of Kentucky, but Louisville's not a top market.
Where were they at? Where were they at on the rankings? Right? No. On the viewership rankings, where were they at in the ACC?
They're in the top 5 in the ACC.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we'll put them. Where do they fall in the must-haves?
North Carolina State, Virginia Tech. I got them in the middle of that.
I would put them ahead, but I guess that's fine.
I think that we've overranked some of these schools, like Virginia Tech.
Well, I think we've underranked some of these schools.
I think we have too. Yeah.
But let's do Virginia, and then we'll just take a look at it, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we need to clean this up a little bit.
It is.
Yeah, Virginia. Yeah, Virginia.
Last resort.
They would be a strategic ad for me. If you missed out on Virginia Tech, you would want to add them for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I'm with Becky. Strategic ad ahead of Cal. But probably it's just not a really good fit in this type of landscape. Yeah, give me Virginia Tech over UVA for this. Okay, so here's the tier maker. It needs some tweaking though. And if the community can help us a little bit, where's the biggest miss out of all these schools? And I'm seeing a couple. One that's striking me that needs to be repositioned is West Virginia.
Okay.
What?
So between the must-have and the primary targets, we're at 16. That's a 16-team conference right there. Who do you pull out to put West Virginia in?
Well, you know who I pull out to get West
You would
Virginia.
pull BYU out, of course. I know.
Yes.
But we're not
Right.
going to pull BYU out.
I mean, we would have to say BYU and Utah, one of the two would have to be must-have and then high-value fallback. You didn't get one, you have to have the other, right?
If that's the case, I've got Utah as a high-value fallback.
Yeah, I would, and I'd put West Virginia as a primary target.
I'm not doing that. I just disagree, guys. I'm controlling the tier maker. I will not do that. And I really question the.
Do you want to do a poll on it?
The realistic view of this too.
Let's do a poll, and we'll let the community decide.
No, we're not doing a poll.
I will say this: I'd be okay moving Stanford down to high value fallback, moving West Virginia up to primary target, because Stanford has options. Stanford's going to have options.
Okay. Well, I mean, if this is the case, I want to move Georgia Tech and OSU up to must-haves.
I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah, 100% okay with that. I think OSU is a must-have.
Georgia Tech, OSU must-haves, and you got to have a Texas school as a must-have. And right now Texas Tech is that school.
Have to have.
So I would move Texas Tech up to a must-have as well.
Yeah, if you don't have a Texas school as a must-have, then this conference isn't going to work.
We have a lot of must-haves now.
Yeah, but you have the basis for a really good conference.
Miami, Kansas, North Carolina State, Virginia Tech, Louisville, Colorado, BYU, Arizona State, Utah, Georgia Tech, Oklahoma State, Texas Tech, TCU, Duke, Arizona, Stanford.
That is a 12-team conference in the must-have, and I would watch the crap out of that.
And it's a 16-team conference if you include primary targets.
Yeah.
You know what? When we're doing this, guys, I'm not sure Stanford makes it. I think I'm bumping Stanford out, bringing West Virginia in.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just think they have options.
Stanford just doesn't really do anything here. You're not forming this as an academic conference, apparently.
But I think if you're adding
out the door,
then we have to drop 2, because I think if you're adding West Virginia, you have to add Pitt.
Yeah,
there's 0% chance Pitt gets in this, in my view. 0.
Listen,
No way.
The West Virginia Pitt conference rivalry, I think it means a lot. Means viewership. Pitt does have a history in football. Now, I get it. It's been a while, but Pitt does have some national championships. They do have a Heisman Trophy winner. I think you've got to include Pitt with West Virginia. I don't think you can separate them. I think if we're keeping BYU and Utah in, if we're keeping Texas Tech and TCU in, if we're keeping Arizona State and Arizona in, I think you have to keep West Virginia and Pitt in.
Okay.
The rivalry game alone is worth West Virginia and Pitt.
Okay, so let's throw West Virginia Pitt in the conference. And then let's look on how we can tinker with this conference to get max value. If we're looking at rivalries.
Yeah, I can tell you who I dropped immediately. Arizona and Stanford. Arizona, the basketball team. Yeah, football team's kind of meh.
Yeah.
And Stanford just doesn't do it. Stanford you want because you want Stanford because they're Stanford. But they're not. They're going to have options anyway. They won't be there.
So let's look at this. So Miami's untouchable. KU needs to be in, untouchable. NC State. Maybe you eliminate NC State or Duke. Duke?
No.
Duke's going to be a target.
It's Virginia Tech.
No.
Louisville, Colorado,
No.
BYU, Arizona State, Utah, Georgia Tech. Like, if you're trying to make a conference here, you added these two as a rivalry game. So you got one elite rivalry, you've got two elite rivalries, and Arizona State gives you three. That's all you've got rivalry-wise now. And with West Virginia, you get a little bit of juice from Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Virginia Tech, Miami.
I will say, judging by the comments, Texas Tech and TCU might be a little heated.
Yeah, there you go. Texas. I mean, you're going to have to build some rivalries with it. Duke, Kansas is a rivalry waiting to happen. That is a rivalry waiting to happen. Duke, North Carolina State, there's a rivalry, in-state rivalry right there. I mean, listen, I know you don't want to hear it, but if we're eliminating someone, the Salt Lake City market, the state of Utah, is not that big.
It is, Moan.
It's going
it's a top
to be
20. It's almost top 20 market.
Okay,
highest growth.
That's it in the state. Who else is in the state outside of Salt Lake City?
Moan, you undervalue Salt Lake City a lot because there's no pro sports. It's everything. College football is everything.
Well, there's a hockey team there.
I mean, there's no football NFL team.
There's an NBA team there.
Moan, I really disagree. We're not moving anybody. BYU should not even be on this list. They'll never get in this conference. And we disagree on that. So we're not going to move either of those. So we're playing a little fantasy game here.
Let's get to some super chats here real quick. Bill G says it will be amusing to see if A&M attempts to outspend Texas Tech in future years. If you enjoy watching the Aggies overspend their way to mediocrity.
I mean, they're both perennial 8-5s. So no offense to either fan base. That's pretty much what they are lately. And didn't A&M already outspend the entire country and still finish 8-5 and have all their guys transfer out? And they then raised $96 million in 24 hours to fire their coach.
Let's look at the stats on this, though.
Yeah.
Got encyclopedic knowledge of the game and a nearly photographic memory. If anybody can do this, anybody at all,
I figured it out.
Thank you, God, because I had nothing.
Thank you for the super chat, Bill G. It is much appreciated, sir. Yes, it's always fun to watch A&M overspend and underperform. My fear with Texas Tech is I don't think Joey McGuire is the guy. I think they're going to have to bring somebody else in, but I think it'll be a big name. Go Black 45 says realistically drop UM and add UCF and USF. Again, Go Black, you're gonna have to go back to the beginning of the show when we did the strikeout. By keeping Miami in, we had to drop UCF. So thank you for that, Go Black 45, but I will give you a LSU Go Tigers. Thank you so much, Go Black 45. And then we had a membership pop up from Hall of Fame College Football, Jason Watkins. If you have not done so already, make sure you subscribe to Jason. He does some great work. He's an Oklahoma fan. Why the fuck is North Carolina State a must-have? I am going to go ahead and address this, Jason, because it's in North Carolina. They've got a great basketball program. They've got a rabid football fan base. Where is North Carolina State in those ACC viewer numbers?
Not great.
It's not great, but
I mean, it's interesting that Jason brings that up because he might be onto something there. Maybe we are overranking North Carolina State a lot. North Carolina State is midpoint, maybe slightly below. They're even below than UNC historically in TV viewership. Maybe they are not a must-have. Maybe we've overranked NC State a lot. Duke sucks. I mean, Duke's historical football viewership is atrocious. Of course, basketball is great, but I mean, it's a good super chat. All right.
Steve Moser said you missed a chance to say frick like Napoleon Dynamite. Do the chickens have large talons? There you go. There's your Napoleon Dynamite.
I think that we need to move North Carolina State and Virginia Tech around a little bit. Like, I'm just looking at this and like this doesn't seem like it. I don't know. These are not the teams that I would have if I was creating it by myself.
Where was Virginia Tech's numbers viewership wise in the ACC?
Middling, slightly above NC State, but in the middle of the conference, 8-9.
So we
are overranking Virginia Tech 100%, guys.
So what were their numbers compared to Colorado? Well, we'll exclude Colorado, but compared to BYU and Arizona State.
They're better. I mean, Arizona States are atrocious. To be honest with you guys. And Arizona's are atrocious.
But
BYU's are okay. BYU's not as good as you think.
Where was Utah in all this?
Utah was number 3 last year, behind Colorado K-State. BYU's number 4.
So we probably
all right, guys. Listen, you're between the top 2. We're at 17 teams.
Pitt's not in this, guys. Pitt, look,
they're in this right now. I want everybody to pick one team to pull out, and we're going to put it in a poll. Which team are you pulling out of here?
Oh my gosh. I'll say Pitt.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Utah.
Okay.
You guys are not making Wild happy.
Well.
I mean, I still think they're a perfect target, but maybe we got them a little too high.
I'm actually not going to go with Utah. I am going to go with... Oh, boy.
Dude. I would have said Arizona State if they were so damn good. Like, they're really good right now.
I am going to go with Arizona.
I almost went with them too.
Arizona State, and Utah are going to be in. You know that. I know that.
I don't know that. I know that. We'll let the chat decide who gets thrown out. And that's going to be our final 16, and that's going to do it. CU versus UM could be a rivalry for sure. Google 1993 game and watch Michael Westbrook kung fu a cane, and even The Rock was involved. Good times in Boulder. Yes.
Yeah, there's a great video of The Rock running into that fight.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson was a hurricane. Absolutely true. Thankfully, it didn't work out for him, and we got him into pro wrestling and into the movies, where he does 4 or 5 movies every year. Not necessarily good movies. Some of them are geezer pleasers, but there you go.
He's getting ready to do that Scorsese movie. Wild.
I don't know. Scorsese's fallen off for me in the last couple years, so.
Follow his daughter on TikTok. She's pretty cool.
I don't know.
Duke.
To me, I think since the Gangs of New York, he's really fallen off.
Did you see they just ranked Batista as the #1 wrestler turned actor ever?
Well, yeah, because he's actually a good actor.
He's actually really good.
He's actually really good.
No, what was that movie with what was that M. Night Shyamalan movie? That was really, really good.
Cabin at the End of the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was I enjoyed that movie.
That was good.
And then I enjoyed his role in Blade Runner 2049.
All
right, guys,
come
on. We got, I'm going to give us one more minute to vote. Right now, Pitt is on the out. If you're a Pitt Panther fan, you better get in here and vote for Utah and Arizona.
Can I move Houston into must-have suddenly? Just like can't have a conference without a second Cougar.
That's true, but we've got 2 Texas schools. We got Tech and we got TCU.
Every conference has like 2 schools.
Do we need Tech and TCU?
We do.
We do.
You've got to have Texas into this conference.
Got to have the state of Texas is like a mandatory ad at this point. Have to have it. I'll say this: Colorado would tell you have to have somebody from Texas in it because the recruiting went downhill.
Huge recruiting grounds.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why they went downhill.
We got 38 votes on this poll, by the way. There's 309 people watching on Twitter. If you want to vote in this poll, you got to run over here to YouTube at the CFB Mafia here on YouTube. Sign in and vote. Because otherwise, the Pittsburgh Panthers, they're leaving this. West Virginia is going to be the last one in. Mountaineers are going to be last one in. So I'll give it another 30 seconds, guys. And thank you for that super chat, Fergie. I didn't play you a sounder. Let me find a sounder for you. Here we go. Let's do a little Bret Hart.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
All right. I'm going to end the poll, guys. I'm going to end the poll. We're stuck at 39 votes. Let's end it. Let's get this tier maker finished. Pitt at 50% is the one that gets dropped.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, there we go. We've got okay.
So there's your 16-team conference. Miami, again, we'll assume if Miami's not available, you're taking UCF. Agreed?
Yeah, I think you have to have somebody in Florida. Just for the recruiting alone.
I agree. It's not the best option, but it's the best option.
I would take Stanford over UCF, but
same. Give me Stanford over UCF.
Only because Stanford's,
again, I think
other sports are competitive.
Are we building a conference that's going to be a nationwide conference? If so, I think you need Florida more than you do California. You're getting Arizona. You get 2 Arizona schools. That brings you into California, into Southern California.
There's a lot of recruits in California, the most populous state.
Miami, Kansas, North Carolina State, the Virginia Tech Hokies, Louisville Cardinals, Colorado Buffaloes, BYU Cougars, the Arizona State Sun Devils, Utah Utes, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the Oklahoma State Cowboys, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, the TCU Horned Frogs, the Duke Blue Devils, the Arizona Wildcats, and the West Virginia Mountaineers is your best of the rest.
Let's go.
And now we've got to name the conference. What would you guys call this conference?
Smash Capital Conference.
That's a terrible name.
The Big 16.
Who?
The Super 16. Smash Brothers. Super Smash Brothers 16.
Super Smash Brothers 16 brought to you by
Tarleton
Cigarettes. Let's see. Got to think of a good name. Let's call it the Continental Football Conference, the CFC.
Dude, no.
I'm gonna call it the American Athletic Conference. Since it's available.
I think there's a conference that was already named that once before.
It was named that. They're now just the American Conference.
Okay.
No, for real. I would probably call it
The Super 16.
it's almost like the Mountain East Conference. Called the Mountain East.
Charlie Casado says the Hateful 16, but I don't think that rolls off the tongue. I really don't. The Hateful 16. Big Ear Bo says WWC, the Worldwide Conference.
I like it.
Nationwide Conference presented by Nationwide Insurance.
That's not a terrible idea. Nationwide
Not a
Conference. I don't hate that idea.
I don't hate that.
The big ACC conference. I think you've got to get away from the big and the ACC moniker. I think this needs to be its own thing.
Worldwide Prestige.
The Worldwide Prestige Conference.
How would you structure this, guys? Would you put like pods in play here for the Super 16 type conference? I'm just thinking like, hey, like how are you going to make this? Are you going to make divisions? How are you going to split this up? How are you going to add some zest to it?
Well, I mean, there's no divisions in football anymore. You don't need divisions.
Because you need Miami, Virginia Tech, NC State in a pod, probably with Louisville.
And Georgia Tech.
Colorado, yeah, in Georgia Tech. Or like
and
if you got
Duke,
16.
And West Virginia. You would have to find one more, I think, to get to 8 to make a 8-team division.
Yeah, I think just a permanent rival model is the best. That's what I don't like. Pods are kind of like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not that big of a conference. They don't have that in the SEC or the Big Ten. They don't even have it today in the ACC, or the Big 12. So, yeah, I would just go permanent rivals. Give everybody 2 permanent rivals. They so choose. Because, Colorado's going to choose one of their old buddies from Big 12 and they'll probably just choose 2 of their old friends from the old Big 12. Probably like Oklahoma State, and they'd probably grab like Texas Tech. I don't even know if that was a big rivalry back in the day, so no idea. Somebody, who would Colorado want to be rivals with?
It'd be Utah. Utah would have BYU and Colorado.
I mean, Miami and West Virginia have history, as does Virginia Tech. They probably all want to play each other.
Duke seems like such an outlier.
It Duke does, but the basketball just brings so much value.
You don't have North Carolina anymore. You don't have that juice.
You've got North Carolina State, though.
I'm thinking that you put Pitt in and remove Duke.
I'll be honest with you. Even if they weren't in the same conference as North Carolina, I think they still play North Carolina twice a year in basketball. I think they do home and home every year. I really do. But that Duke, like Arizona, that Duke, Arizona, Kansas, like basketball, brutal. Throwing a good Texas Tech and random, like in Louisville. That's good ball. That's a good conference for that.
I think the New American Conference, the NAC.
The New American.
You're already in NAC.
There's an NAU. Northern
NAU. I have no idea.
Hall of Fame college football from Jason Watkins. If the name doesn't include Buc-ee's, you failed. Well, Buc-ee's is going to have to pony up some money. I don't know that Buc-ee's has that kind of.
I was like, is Buc-ee's in every state? It only works if Buc-ee's is in every state.
I think there may be a Buc-ee's in Ohio now. There may be. We almost had our second Arthur Treachers, but that deal fell through. Thank you for the super chat, Jason. I will go ahead and give you the Oklahoma Fight Zone. But I don't know that Buc-ee's has the gravitas of a Nationwide or an Allstate. Insurance money is a lot of money, guys. So
I think that he's right on the money or something. If you make pods, then you make the Buc-ee's pod, which is the Midwest pod. You've got a Publix pod, for
well listen,
Southeast.
Sheets would be your Midwest pod. It's all about Sheets up here. Yes.
What's Sheets?
Sheets it's a gas station / restaurant / deli. It's kind of weird. Like, it's a gas station that has like a produce section. It's a gas station that has like a cafeteria type setting. In the Midwest, it's very popular. Sheets. Pennsylvania, Virginia, Ohio, up into the Northeast. And then you have Flying J travel centers that come up this way, but I think they're more in Tennessee. I don't know. The gas station.
Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, TCU, and KU. There's the Buc-ee's pod.
I mean, we could add Pitt and call it the Wawa Conference.
That's true, the Wawa as well, but maybe we should just call it the Exit Conference. Based on what exit you're pulling off of, you're going to find something.
The Exit Conference.
Purple Cat Claws, $5. Thanks for the show, but I wish this was the MD 2020 episode. Bring on Farmageddon. Go Cats. Hey, Purple Cat Claws. Again, it wasn't without reason that we did not include the Kansas State Wildcats. It's just we've got to include too many people, and Kansas, the Jayhawks, are a little bit more valuable as a franchise. So, but good luck tomorrow. Although I have Iowa State at 3.5.
No, you don't.
Yes,
no
I do.
way, Moan.
I took the Cyclones. I took the points.
The Cyclones and the points?
I took the Cyclones. Well, the Cyclones aren't favored. I'm getting 3.5 points.
Okay.
Kansas State is favored.
Oh, okay.
Kansas State is favored by 3.5.
So you think they're going to cover the 3?
I do. I think if Kansas State wins, I think it's a 3-point win, and I cover. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Greg the Gold, according to him, the Wildcats are going to cover. So we shall see.
I'll make you a side bet here for next Big Freaking Friday. On to the Farmageddon game, okay? Since it's the kickoff game for the season. I want K-State. I want 3.5. Let's just play the points, okay? 3.5, is that the spread or whatever the spread is?
You're giving me 3.5.
Give you 3.5. Yeah.
Okay.
I want
what
the
do
Cats.
I win?
I don't care. I want they're going to win by more than 3.5.
Okay. What do I win?
You win me eating a can of Skyline chili or Hormel chili on a Big Freaking Friday show.
Okay. What do you win?
Same.
I don't know if I can do
you
it.
should have to drink some chocolate milk.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I can do it. I do not like Skyline chili. I don't view it as real chili. It's got cinnamon in it. I am not a fan of it.
Put it on some spaghetti.
All right, Mo. Then what are we going to bet on here? It's got to be during the bet. And I can't get MD 2020 out in Utah. We know how difficult that is.
I'm surprised they'd sell you Skyline chili out in Utah.
I probably should sell you guys the Skyline, the MD 2020 before the Skyline. No lie.
Yeah,
I'll have to order
definitely.
the Skyline off Amazon and have it imported into Utah.
Oh man, I don't have enough faith in the game to bet on Skyline chili. I just don't. Thank you, Jimmy Otson, for becoming a YouTube member. Boy, Skyline chili is rough. It's really rough because give Jimmy Otson the duck a little duck quack. The Skyline chili might be a little too rough for me, man. I don't know that I could
I mean,
I
you
don't
could
know
always
that I
have
could
it on
pull
a
that
cinnamon
off.
roll.
Oh gosh.
I think they do that in Nebraska, if I remember correctly. That's a Nebraska thing.
Just the thought of Skyline chili makes me want to dry heave.
Is it that
it's not
bad?
good.
No, it's not good. It's not good at all. It's bad. It's bad.
Okay. Well, Moan, you got to think of something. Because K-State ain't losing that game. They're gonna
Two
win by
Master
over 3.5
says
points.
Skyline chili is made with pigeons that fell from the sky.
I believe it.
I believe it.
Really? Is it that bad?
Yes.
It's got like it's not chili.
It's
It's
What do
sweet.
you mean?
It's weird.
it's like meat sauce.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know,
with
like your manwich
cinnamon.
sauce? You know, you get that manwich sauce in a can.
no way.
It pretty much
But
same
it's
thing.
got like cinnamon and chocolate in it.
Yeah.
And by the way, when I stopped at the liquor store to buy this bottle of Crown Royal, they
Yeah.
now have Crown Royal chocolate. So
That's
how
too
about
bad.
that? I will buy a bottle of Crown Royal chocolate and have a drink of it.
Oh, here you go. In Skyline chili is ground beef, tomato paste, chili powder, a variety of spices like cinnamon, cumin, cloves, and allspice. And then they top it with shredded cheese.
It's got to be Skyline chili and nothing else. And
Listen.
this is in anticipation of Cincinnati upsetting Nebraska.
I have the I've put money on Iowa State, but I don't know that I'm gonna put Skyline chili on Iowa State. I hate Skyline chili. You have no idea. It's Skyline chili, Gold Star chili. They are big in Cincinnati. I do not like them. I do not get them. It's like Ohio Valley pizza for me.
Isn't it like in Ohio Valley Pizza? That's the one where they put the cheese on cold.
They
right?
put the toppings and the cheese on cold.
Oh,
they
that's
basically
disgusting.
they cook a crust with sauce on it, and then they throw the toppings and the cheese on cold before you pick it up.
Nah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that either. How about you sing BYU's fight song? If Kansas State went, look at that. Immediately no.
I mean, you got to sing
Immediately
Michigan's
no.
then, Moen. You have to sing Michigan's.
I would
Well,
sing the Victors.
You did sing Michigan's you had
I
that
did.
$100 super chat that you sung Michigan's fight song.
How about the loser has to wear their rival shirt on a future show? That Crown Royal chocolate is good though. Mix it with peanut butter whiskey. No. No.
That sounds like a hangover.
That is just awful. I want my whiskey to taste like whiskey, guys. I don't want chocolate whiskey. I don't want vanilla whiskey. I don't want apple whiskey. I don't want peach whiskey.
I bet you that chocolate whiskey tastes really good with like something like fruity, like apple.
I don't know, but thank you for that super chat, Justin R.
Moan, what is it? Moan is a Skyline or a nothing?
I think it's this.
They've been sucking you, sucking you.
Moan!
They've been sucking you,
Dang
sucking
it.
you, and sucking you. They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. You're sick of it, I get it. They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. They've been sucking you, sucking you, and sucking you. And you're sick of it, I get it.
And I know people who love Skyline chili, guys, and it's not for me. I'm sorry.
It's a chain
tastes-
restaurant, isn't it?
It's huge in the kingdom of Hamilton, as we call it. Skyline spaghetti is huge. My friends Tom and Melissa, when they got married, their dinner after their wedding was Skyline chili.
No way.
Yes way. She insisted. Got a photo of them in her wedding dress eating at Skyline chili, eating a 5-way, I believe. So people in
okay.
Cincinnati love it.
Moan, here's the deal, okay? Look, if you aren't willing to wager the Skyline Chili on Farmageddon, how about we do it for the Cincinnati, Nebraska game in some way, shape, or form? I mean, that would be a massive upset. You know it.
Are you taking Cincinnati?
This is a blowout. Like, this will not be close. If you do it,
I think Cincinnati's a lot better than you guys are giving them credit for.
It might be one of the worst Power 4 teams.
No. Cincinnati.
So you're taking Cincinnati.
What's the spread for Cincinnati, Nebraska?
I have no idea. That game is probably.
I'm looking.
Okay.
I'm looking.
If you're taking Cincinnati, I will take that deal.
You're gonna give me the points, right? The spread points.
Depending on what the spread is.
By the way, it is Nebraska minus 6.5.
Okay, I would do that. 100%.
I want the closing spread. Wherever closes, if it's better or worse. Give me the closing spread. I don't want it 6.5 now.
I mean, the over under or the total is 53.5. So do the total.
Cincinnati's gonna upset Nebraska, and you're gonna eat some Skyline Chili.
There you go.
Celebration of Cincinnati.
Okay, and I give you 6.5.
We'll see wherever it closes. I want where it closes.
Is that 6.5?
So if it creeps up to 7, is that going to swing you?
Yes, it would. Obviously, if it goes up to 7 or 7.5, and it would swing me, because it would be, that's an unusual point spread.
If you're going to do a game, you guys should just do Texas and Ohio State, because Moen's taking Ohio State, and Ohio State right now is a 1.5 favorite.
I have a hard time rooting for Texas because I almost got punched at a Texas game.
I'll tell you what. Listen, if you win, I will try and find a bottle of Thunderbird and drink Thunderbird.
What? Really? Are we talking about Farmageddon here?
That's a shake 'em up.
Wow, totally together.
Absolutely. I'll find what's the word Thunderbird, and I will try. I will try and find what's the word Thunderbird. I can't guarantee I can find it.
You can get it online at Go-To Liquor Store.
Oh, thank you, Becky. I had enough trouble finding Mad Dog 2020.
So Thunderbird for you, for Farmageddon. And for me, I can't get Thunderbird in the great state of Utah, so it's got to be something else that I can go get at.
You eat Skyline Chili.
By the way,
Skyline Chili? Are you serious? Like versus Thunderbird?
Yes.
But by the way, Moen, the Thunderbird today is not the same as the Thunderbird is like the 90s. It's more of a real wine today. It's not a very high alcohol content.
It's still nasty.
Oh yeah, I didn't say it wasn't.
I mean, we can do Thunderbird, we can do Night Train, we can do Wild Irish Rose. Whatever bum wine you want, but I think it should be bum wine versus Skyline Chili.
The Skyline Chili seems like a massive bet. Like that's like an MD 2020 level price.
Right, and I'm drinking Thunderbird, which is
Thunderbird sounds
bum
lovely,
wine.
man. You mix it with a little bit of orange or whatever that commercial said.
I will drink Thunderbird straight.
All right, you know what? Let's do it for the Nebraska game. Let's get that done. Skyline Chili.
Okay.
Right now.
All right, but 6.5 points.
I want with the final.
Okay, the final is 6.5.
Give me 7.
Points.
Give me 7 points.
Oh, fuck. I'm not giving you 7. Come on.
I'm about to have both of you guys do shot of Fernet.
Classy. No, I'm not giving you 7, man. It's 6.5.
You take whatever the spread is. You just take whatever the spread is.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Moen won't take the spread at the end of the day. Like the spread's going to change probably, before kickoff.
I'll take the spread right now. The spread is 6.5. Listen,
6.5
I could get
is not
fucked
bad.
on this. I could get fucked on this. The starting quarterback from Nebraska could go down in practice. I could get screwed at 6.5.
the money might swing, but it might swing in your favor too. I don't think it's going to swing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I was looking on ESPN.com, so they're using ESPN Bet, but it's 6.5.
It's going to end at 7.5. You guys know it. I know it. Give me the final spread, and we got a done deal.
I'm not giving you the final.
Man.
I'm not giving you the final spread if it's 7.5, dude. I mean, come on.
That's
That's
you
a
love you.
sucker
Like,
bet.
it's this Big Ten stuff. It's Big Ten pride.
Yeah, but this is Nebraska. They don't score a lot. They just don't give up anything.
Here we go. Vox Quindaro. Moen is right. Take the bet or leave it.
Yeah.
There
I'm
you
with
go.
Moen here.
It's 6.5.
Moen.
The total points right now is 53.5.
Do you
All right.
you
It's gonna be a
obviously
tight
think Cincinnati's going to win so what do the points matter?
I think Cincinnati's going to have a heck of a game, but I could see a late 7-point loss, and I don't want to eat a Skyline chili for a half point. Wait. Let's talk about that. So is Skyline chili, are we talking about a couple bites, or like what's the rules of the road?
Hey, maybe you'll love Skyline chili and you'll devour it all. Who knows? Skyline chili is a fickle beast. Maybe it is something that you will love in Utah. Maybe it's got that Utah taste bud appeal to it.
Okay.
So 6.5. You can put it on whatever you want. You can put it on whatever you want. It's just about eating the chili. If you want to put it on spaghetti, you can put it on spaghetti with the cheese. You can put it on a hot dog. You can eat it straight. Entirely up to you.
Okay. All right, 6.5.
All right, 6.5 on the Nebraska-Cincinnati game. I am going to do Thunderbird Night Train or Wild Irish Rose, whatever bum wine I can find.
No, you're doing Skyline chili on that game, Moen. Don't try to sneak out of that. What if I'm giving you
All right,
6.5?
fine.
But
You
that's
know
a
what?
bet Skyline.
Fine. It's a Skyline chili bet. I will eat the Skyline chili, but I will have it on spaghetti with cheese.
You have to have it on spaghetti with cheese. That's how they eat it. You cover it in cheddar.
I want to order the spaghetti and the Skyline chili together. I think you can get it in like a.
You can get it in a frozen food pack.
Gosh, dang
it can be done.
You can get the can and just go cheaper. Get the can and the
I'm
noodles
about to ship it
and
in.
shredded cheese. You got to use cheddar.
Okay, we got it. We nailed it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Jose says
Neither one are gonna be
ridiculous.
happy.
Way out of line. Way out of line.
Yeah, we've
It's a
got
lack
way
of
into
respect.
overtime. We've got way. This is almost at 3 hours.
We are in overtime. We're going to wrap it up here, guys. I want to thank you and Becky. This is our best of the rest here. The must-haves, the primary targets. I get you to 16 teams. Go ahead and leave a comment underneath the video. I know you're watching the live stream on demand. Leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs down. Tell us what you agree with. Tell us what you disagree with. Predict who is going to end up eating some Skyline chili. You can do all that in the comment section. We would certainly appreciate that. I want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight, especially those who gave us super chats. Ryan Willie, Ricky Tungate, Mark Bowman, Fergie, Greg Flugar, the Big Lubbock, Laura Weiss, the First Lady of Lubbock, Fergie again, Vox Quindaro, Steve Moser, MBM, David Kreitzer, Replica, Otto Raider, Go Black 45, Bill G, Hall of Fame College Football with Jason Watkins, and Purple Cat Claws, and Jimmy Otson, and Justin R. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this extended edition of the Big Freakin' Friday show. Want to remind everybody that Farmageddon is tomorrow in Ireland. College football season officially kicks off. Woo woo. Next Friday, we're going to start our pick segment. We're going to start with week 1. We'll do picks for everybody that's a member of the College Football Mafia. I want to take special shout out time here to thank everybody for getting us to 5,000 subscribers. Much appreciated, guys. We love you guys. You're the best audience in the business. I will catch you on Sunday with my friend Rock and Rant. We will do a Mowing After Dark. We'll kind of break down what happened on the Saturday football games. But for myself, for Wild You, for Becky Go Huskies. By the way, it's Becky's birthday tomorrow. Make sure you tag her on Twitter. Happy birthday. Please don't steal any mopeds. She's going on a pub crawl. God, lock up your mopeds, people in Seattle. Until then, we will see you guys next Friday. And have a good weekend. Enjoy the college football and peace out.